Hello, all, and welcome to a new Critical Reviews podcast. This week we have lots to discuss. With me, as always, is my good friend and general of the Legion, Mr. Jimmy Good.
Yes.
Jimmy,
Hi.
say hello to the people.
Yes. Hello. Hi, everyone. I'm here. And, Joe is hosting this week, if you guys couldn't tell that from our different intro there. Yeah.
I'm ready to go. Let me at him.
You got your hood up. You're kind of Rocky-esque, man. We just got to
Getting this thing done.
Yeah.
I'm about to run up some stairs to Eye of the Tiger.
It's a
Ciao. Bam. Let's go. All right. So, as I said, lots to discuss, Jimmy. How you feeling this week?
I'm feeling good. I just got out of Alien Covenant a while ago, and I'm a little scared right now. I know we're going to talk about it, but I'm scared. But I'm wearing my Space Mountain shirt, so I feel all right.
Jimmy, what's that in the corner over there? Don't move.
Okay, I'm not gonna move. I'm gonna stay perfectly still.
Oh yeah, what a movie, huh? What a movie. So I hope it's fresh in your mind. Considering it's only been a couple hours, you should be good, right?
Yeah, definitely should be good. But I'm excited to be here. I always love showing up for all the Legionnaires, and I don't know if anyone's new here too. Thanks for coming to watch me. It's my first time being a guest on the show, so
hey, there's a lot of pressure that comes with being a guest. I don't know if you realize.
Yeah, I got to be all like the fun, witty banter. I got to be like, and say things and bounce off you.
Yeah, so let me give the people, the listeners, the Legion, a little bit of a rundown here on what we're going to discuss this week. So, got a little bit of discussion to have on Destiny 2. We're seeing more and more stuff on that. Got a little bit of gameplay stuff. Actually, a lot of gameplay stuff. Am I right? It was quite a long video that I was watching. So
yeah, we'll
talk a little bit about that. What we're thinking. Sorry, what was that?
I said there was a lot. That was just like the one you saw, but there's like a few others with other classes. It's just like a half-hour chunk of each one. It's like, So,
sure. Yeah. All right. So we also got a little news, and Jimmy, I think you're more knowledgeable on this one than I, but Tom Holland, the actor who plays the new Spider-Man in the MCU, is set to play Nathan Drake in Uncharted, a young Nathan Drake.
Mm-hmm.
So next on the list, we got Tom Hardy cast as Venom. Daggone. Okay. What up?
There's a lot of Tom casting this week. Like, get all the Toms together. We got to cast them.
Next thing you know, Tom Welling filling in for Henry Cavill is super. Anywho, lots of good news on Venom. That'll be fun to cover here. Zack Snyder news regarding Justice League. A little unfortunate. We'll get to that. And then Red Dead Redemption info. Some good, some bad, a little bit of both. Nothing wrong with that. So, with that little rundown, let's get after it, shall we? So,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
First things first. Destiny 2. Jimmy, thoughts?
Joe, I played Destiny, the very first one. I got it along with my Xbox One. I think I got it like bundled with it or something, or I bought it and they were giving a free game away, and I was like, I might as well pick that game up. So that was the very first game I think that I had on Xbox. That was a few years ago, and I remember really enjoying it for the time. My buddy Leo and I would play, and he would come over and we would still do like an old school, like he'd sit in the same room on a big TV and I'd have another TV and we'd just play the game. But I really enjoyed it for a while. It's like Halo meets kind of Borderlands, kind of Division type of thing. For anybody who's unfamiliar with Destiny, it's like first-person shooter, but with like RPGs elements. So that way, like if I shoot a guy, it'll say like little damage numbers. So if I shoot him in the head, it might do a little more damage, or if I shoot him in the chest, a little less. But yeah, it was really fun. I played as a warlock, and we played a bunch of the campaign stuff, and then we did the multiplayer, which was really, really good. But eventually got to a point where we didn't play anymore because there's so much DLC, which sucked. And then like we waited too long, and then it was like you'd have to buy the whole game over again because they did like the Taken King or whatever that was. So it's kind of like, I'm gonna wait till the second one comes out. But
so almost a Call of Duty kind of deal where if you don't play it for a few months, you lose track of the map packs and the DLC, and next thing you know, you can't even find a match.
Yes, that's 1,000% correct. And it was kind of heartbreaking just because I really did enjoy it, and there were these kind of fun things that you could do, like 3-man raid or strikes that you could like group up, or there's like these other raids. But just because we didn't like buy all the stuff when it came out, we were like, like we can't really keep up with that new stuff. So
yeah, and here's the deal: your game has to be super high quality and worthwhile to the player.
Yeah.
I mean, if you, I mean, first of all, they got to buy the game, almost $70 right off the bat there.
Yes, sir.
Second, they're going to invest time and play. They're going to have fun. Is it going to get a little grindy? Or are they going to get a little petered out? Oh, but there's DLC. Okay, maybe they jump at the first one because they're still having fun with the game, right? All of a sudden, next thing you know, there's more DLC. Here's $20 out the window. Here's 15 out the window. Here's another 20. Oh, and here's 30 because this is like a whole new expansion onto the game. Eventually, when does it stop? Because you're just like, I don't know, I played enough Destiny, and people take a break, and then they lose track of the DLC, and then it's like, yeah, now I got to spend $80 to get back up with people. Yeah,
exactly.
So basically, you're killing yourself there. You're killing your game. You think you're going to make money off the DLC, but really it comes back to bite you a little bit, right?
Kind of. I wonder if a lot of people buy a game like Destiny and they say, this is my game for the next 6 months. And they just say, whatever stuff comes out for it, I'm just going to buy that. I'm not going to buy other things. And the people who are dedicated to Destiny, probably saw and had a lot of great times that I didn't. I just kind of missed out on. But because Destiny 2 is making it so your character that people spend hours and hours like building up will not transfer over to that next game, a lot of people were kind of like, that sucks for them. At the same time, though, I think it's nice because for people like myself or people who, like you, Joe, didn't play the first one, it's like, oh, you can just walk right in versus like seeing someone who's like level 356 and you're like, wow, that guy's got tons of gear. How do I get there? And he's like, I've been playing since Destiny 1. I've got like 400 hours in the game. And you're like, okay, like
yeah, it wouldn't be an apples to apples deal. They'd be like the watermelon, nice and ripe and juicy, and you'd be the apple that hasn't quite ripened yet, right?
Yeah, but it does look good. It looks a lot like the same, but it kind of has a little bit more of a No Man's Sky look to it now, or like I call it like the Apple look. Like some of the guns look, I'm like, oh, it's kind of like this shiny future tech kind of thing.
Sure.
But yeah, there's 3 classes. I played as a Warlock back in the day, but there's like a Hunter and a Titan, and they have like a few special abilities. But besides that, typically they weren't really super different in the first game. But I'm hoping that they have some more differentiation in this one.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, from the gameplay I saw, it's very Halo-esque, almost even more so. But I like it. The gunplay looks a little more fun to me, and your mobility seems to be a little better. Halo's great and all, but it's a little. Sometimes it almost feels slightly clunky to me. It's not as like smooth and fluid as maybe a Call of Duty or a Titanfall, which sometimes can get a little annoying to me, but. Yeah, I like the look of the game, the design qualities. That's really cool. Needless to say, not really getting into the first one or paying attention to it. That was when I was first kind of getting my Xbox One and getting into it, and I had other priorities at the moment. But they've caught my attention here, and it does. It looks interesting. I think people have fun with it. People do talk about it getting a little grindy.
Yeah.
Where it's just like on to the next thing. Ghost Recon is another example of that game can start to feel that way a little bit too, or not a lot of differentiation between the things you're doing.
Sure. Division was the same way too. I remember kind of we played it for a while and then we're just kind of like, I guess we're just gonna go in the dark zone and just kind of do whatever the heck we do there, Yeah,
exactly. And the dark zone is probably the Division is probably the worst example. Best example being the worst.
Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely.
So no, like I said, this one's got my interest, and it does look like a lot of fun, and especially considering there's not much competition for it this fall.
Yeah.
More and more we see, there's less and less coming out around that time to compete with it.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. First I want to touch on one point that you made about Halo kind of being clunky. I completely agree with that. There's definitely a weight to that game, and I wanted to say I'm sure it's intentional because you're like a big Spartan. And then I remember in Destiny, kind of like I was a Warlock, so my guy was kind of floaty. He kind of had like magical stuff. Like if you do like a Hunter, you're a little, I feel like a little bit faster, and the Titan is more like a Spartan. So like if you want whatever play style, you can kind of change it a little bit, but it's not like if you play the hunter, you're a pilot from Titanfall. Like those guys are like the best in the world. Like there's no other game that emulates that movement.
Yeah.
But like you said though about the fall, we have got like Mario coming out, which is not really a competitor, and we're gonna talk about it later. But Red Dead kind of moving back. I don't know if anyone's Gesundheit.
Excuse me. Thank you.
He's gonna pop his earbuds right out. But yeah, you're totally right. And I think it's a good time for. I think it's lucky that the game it's coming out. I think September 8th, and I don't think it's gonna face a lot of competition. That's a time that used to be for Halo actually, and Bungie, who used to make Halo, who's making Destiny nowadays. They know when to release a game. So yeah, I don't know. I'm excited about it. I'm cautiously optimistic, and hopefully we'll do a review on it one way or another. But I think you, Drew, and I would have fun on the 3-man strikes because we just go in, it's literally made for 3 people, which is perfect for us.
Oh,
because not a lot of games, we play games like Ghost Recon or The Division, and they'd say like, you should probably get a 4th. And, we would just be like, all right, we're just down a man. So whatever. But yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, the quality seems to be there. People like the first one. I'm hoping they do. I'm hoping they correct the DLC issue on this one. I hope it doesn't become like all right, well, I bought the game, I got 4 months out of it. Now I'm just gonna, it's not one of those palate cleansers you can always come back to. It's one of those where, man, do I want to spend the money today? Do I miss it that much?
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't turn into that. We'll see. If Overwatch were that way, I won't lie. If Overwatch were that way, I probably would be keeping up with the DLC, I think.
That was kind of an interesting point of contention because Overwatch for a while, they were considering a free-to-play model. So it would have been free to everybody, but new maps, new characters and stuff you might have had to buy. And they said, you know what? We feel more comfortable just saying putting a $60, $5 price tag on it after tax, and you will get everything for free after that. Like you can buy cosmetic items and all that, but we figured this is smarter than saying like, all right, you don't have to pay for this game, but if you want Orisa, you're gonna have to pay like $5 to have her that first week or something. And people will be like, oh, she's too powerful right now, so if you buy her, you just pay to win. And Blizzard does not want that. Does not. It's tried not to. It does have microtransactions everywhere. All their games do, but they do their best to avoid that. But another I was gonna say quick about Destiny. They're doing a big overhaul on campaign and stuff. They're focusing a lot more on the story because Joe, back in the day, you'd have to get these little Grimoire cards, and then they'd be like, oh, so you like if you want to learn about what was going on in the world, be like, oh, you picked up a Grimoire card in the game. It's like if you want to know more about it, look on our companion app or on the website. So you couldn't get story information from the freaking game itself. You had to go to a website.
Well, so they're making you get engaged even more by going to their website, creating traffic there. And they probably get money for advertisements on the side panel of the website, and it's a whole thing. And smart on their behalf, but is the story worthwhile for people to be like, oh yeah, I gotta check this out, I gotta do one, oh my gosh.
No, it was just, and it just made the campaign seem really hollow because you never knew what was going on. They'd have a few cutscenes and stuff to try to explain it, but they're completely doing away with the Grimoire cards, and they're focusing on a good campaign. And I think that you can play with your buddies potentially. So I was like, oh, cool, because if you and Drew and I could play through a full campaign together too, that's always fun. So yeah.
Well, good, good, cool. All right. Well, I guess any other related notes to Destiny? I think we kind of covered it. On a scale of 1 to 10, how are you feeling about it?
Oh, the hypometer. Very good question. I'd probably say I'm at like a 7.5, 8. Okay. After playing Halo with you guys, a little while ago, and I went and beat the campaign the other day. I was like, I'm just gonna beat this campaign. I still, it's
Did
not
you
the
really?
Same. Yeah, it's not the same, obviously, as Destiny, but there's something about that kind of like spacey, like I'm kind of a strong person and I got some sick guns, but it's not too jokey like a Borderlands. Like Borderlands for me got old because it was like, oh, there's all these crazy little jokes, and the cell shaded thing kind of bugged me after. Like this game is just flat out just pretty. I mean, they still have this thing like your melee with, I think, like a lot of them, but with the Warlock, he would kind of like force people back, and if you kill someone with that, they'll like disintegrate. And it's just so like I'm a very visually I'm just a visual creature, and I love that kind of thing. So I'm hoping it's good. And if there's nothing else out during that time, maybe I can convince you boys to hop in with me, because we won't have something like that at that quality for a while. The only question, like you said, is do they have, that season pass? When does that kick in? Did they say like 2 months down the line? They're like, all right, here you go. Or does the game ship with 200 hours worth of gameplay, just time for us to hang out and play? So,
sure. Yeah. All things to be determined that will weigh heavily on the decision, right?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I said I'll probably call my hypometer probably a strong 7.5. Like I'm interested, but I want to see more. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna watch more of the gameplay. I only caught like 5 minutes of it. So the more I learn, the more that might go up. We'll see. I don't know that it's totally my type of game. It is first-person shooter and all that, and it looks pretty intense, but more to come. My hypometer might, skyrocket a little bit. So we'll see. Yeah. So that brings us to the next part of the podcast. We will move on to Tom Holland playing Nathan Drake in Uncharted. Jimmy, I'm going to let you take this one away, pal.
I feel bad because like these first 2 segments we have here, like I know just way more about this. I'll keep this one brief though, Joe. Tom Holland, okay. He's Spider-Man or whatever. Basically what they're doing is, for right now, it sounds like they're basing a certain segment of the third Uncharted game, which kind of does a flashback to Nathan Drake. If anyone's unfamiliar with it, Uncharted is a Sony game franchise that kind of follows an Indiana Jones type character named Nathan Drake, who goes around the world and finds treasure, and there's usually a mythological twist. In the third game, they do a flashback to seeing him as a young street urchin back in the day, meeting this guy named Victor Sullivan, aka Sully, who ends up being kind of like his mentor in the ways of crime. The only thing that people have been worried about with this one, Joe, particularly, is Uncharted has been in development hell for a long time as far as the film goes. The games are great and people love them because it feels like you're playing a movie. That's the best part. The cinematics are usually so good, it's like, oh, I have to play again. And for a while, Mark Wahlberg was going to be Nathan Drake, but people were kind of like, and he dropped out. And now they're focusing an entire film on a young Nathan Drake, which is interesting. I think the love for Tom Holland is there right now, especially at Sony, who obviously are doing their own Spider-Man universe here eventually. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I like Tom Holland. I just don't know if it's one of those things where they're going to try to have him age into, Nathan Drake. They'll make him sign a super long contract so that way he can grow into the role, as it were. I have no idea.
Sure. So. Yeah, maybe they're thinking longevity here. Who knows?
Yeah, but I don't know. Sony makes a lot of interesting decisions, and I hope it's good. I think he's a good actor from what little I've seen, I guess. I can't really go. I need to see Spider-Man Homecoming, and then I'll be able to say, like, there we go. So, yeah, that's all I've got to
Jimmy,
say. What?
You said it, pal. Sony makes some interesting decisions. What have they done recently that sparked our interest more specifically?
You wouldn't be referring to the Venom standalone film that is rated R and is horror focused and not connected to Spider-Man at all.
Bruh. Yeah.
There he is. Yeah. He's coming alive.
Ooh. Yep, so
we got Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy casted as Venom.
Yeah.
Noted to be a master stroke for Sony's superhero universe. What do you think? Right call? Would we have rather seen someone else?
We've talked about this in the past, Joe, because he's cast as Venom / Eddie Brock. Yeah. I've heard people talk about maybe it'll be Agent Venom because they're like, how do you do Spider-Man's one of his ultimate villains without Spider-Man?
Without Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's like he has all Spidey's abilities, but no, there's like so they might do an Agent Venom thing where it's just like we made a suit and it has these abilities, but I'm really hoping it's a good thing. I like Tom Hardy. He's played Bane. He was Max in Mad Max. He was in Inception. Yeah. He's been in a bunch of things, and he can kind of be a little chameleon-ish, and we can see that he can bulk up. So I don't know. I think it could have been a lot worse, man. I think it could have been. I mean, Topher Grace is like the opposite end of the spectrum. So if it would be hard to go past that in the opposite direction. So, yeah. How about you? What do you think?
No, I think it's fine. I think it's good. Tom Hardy doesn't necessarily stand out to me as a celebrity in any way. Like, he doesn't have much of a he doesn't have much staying power on my mind. He seems kind of generic. I can't place his face often. I can't like picture what he looks like if you say his name. I think I like the Tom Hardy T-shirts or something? Aren't there like those? God, what are those? Affliction T-shirts or something? For some reason, that's what I think of.
Oh, weird.
I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, part of it is I've only ever seen his face in like Mad Max. I don't really know him from anything else. I know he was in Bane. He was in The Dark Knight, obviously. Is Bane. Did a good job there, but you don't really see much of him. It's more, he's always got the mask on, right? And he's got a big cloak. He's not a very tall guy. He can bulk up. He does a really good job of bulging out his trapezius muscles on his shoulders, which you should do for roles like that, and maybe this one.
You meant Dark Knight Rises, by the way, just to cut off people in the comments, because they're going to be like, if there wasn't Bane in Dark Knight, they shouldn't. Those names are too close. I'm just saying.
Sure, Dark Knight Rises, whatever.
Dark Knight Falls.
I wasn't specific on which one. I apologize. Anywho, so I guess I think it was a good call. I think he's not too big of a name to like drop like. What's the word? Like, you don't want to create too high of expectations, I feel like.
Yeah.
A lot of times we talk about how it's better to see a no-name actor or actress brought into a larger role because you don't know a lot about them. You're not familiar with them playing other characters, which messes with your mentality of the new character. All that interferes with your relationship to the movie as you're watching it, right? You're thinking, well, they played Bane in the last one. He's not very Bane-ish here. That was a Bane moment right there. Something like that. Yeah. Sometimes I worry that things like that affect the quality of a movie as you're watching it. Is your mind going elsewhere at any moment? And I hope that's not the case here. I know for me, I don't think it will. Like I said, Tom Hardy he doesn't mean a whole lot to me. It's not like you're saying, oh, Ashton Kutcher, is cast as, that would be like, holy crap, a little much for me.
That'd be terrifying. That 70s show, everybody gets a shot. They're like, all right, give it to them.
Yeah. Coincidentally, I pick another that 70s show character. But, a lot of times we've talked about this a lot, almost exhausted the topic, and not just in the podcast. We talk about it, privately outside of this. So we've talked about like who would we want to see play him. I said somebody that looks like Jensen Ackles but as big as The Rock.
Yeah.
I don't know. Jensen Ackles himself would probably work, but would a guy like that be able to bulk up enough? I don't know, probably given enough money and training.
Sure.
I think that's a big point to make is that Tom's gotta get jacked, right? Which I think we know he can do, which is a good starting point. His acting for me has never really been stellar.
Yeah.
Bane doesn't really say a lot about his acting ability. It was good, don't get me wrong, but it's doing the voice and all that.
Yeah, well, it's very. I guess his eyes are very expressive, or something. It's hard because you're right. He hasn't really done anything that you or I have seen that we can really cling to. But I'm guessing that Sony wants us to be able to after that, and they know he has some acclaim to him. He can kind of play like a stoic, kind of angry individual, which Eddie can be. So maybe that's why they chose him. I don't know.
Yeah, and hopefully portray those animalistic qualities that you're going to need, right?
Yeah, I think for sure. And I think a lot of people wanted him to play a new version of the Wolverine eventually because, they're like, all right, a few years after like Hugh Jackman's gone, I'm talking about
now they got to be looking elsewhere, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's a good choice. Plus, they want people to think they're taking this seriously because if they would cast just like a no-name like we would want, that usually works better if it's like a younger superhero. And they're like, it's all right if it doesn't work out. They need someone that they know can commit to this new kind of outing for them. They can sign them up for 3 pictures or whatever. So, yeah.
Definitely. Something I'll say, I think we all realize that they botched Venom in that 3rd Spider-Man movie, Sam Raimi.
There's
The
like,
one thing I will say about it,
yep,
the one thing is that there are some redeemable qualities in the way the thing looked,
yes,
moved, etc.
Joe, it has
Obviously,
alien-esque moments. When they're showing the news clips from it, and the guy, like a cameraman, gets attacked, and you see it jumping at the screen. That's so cool. Like,
yeah, there were some good things that came with Venom in that movie. The aesthetics were good. Some of the shots, like you're describing, the way the tendrils moved or the suit would move on people. You know, the scene where Eddie Brock is Topher Grace is in the bottom of the church and it falls on him from above, and he's on the floor and they're doing that shot like right from his face, and he's like dropping his head and he's like looking up and he's like taking him over. Good stuff. I love that. But yeah, Topher Grace, the character portrayal, nothing against the guy. He's just an actor getting the role, but the casting, it just should be somebody else similar to Eddie Brock, or excuse me, similar to, oh my gosh, Hardy.
yeah,
But the look wasn't quite there. You and I have an argument that's ongoing, right? You think he should be giant, almost the size of the Hulk, but not quite.
yeah. Look at this.
I
Look at
think
this guy.
that he should be more like Dwayne Johnson's size.
Dwayne Johnson is the
for
size
the
of the Hulk.
realism, right? For
Well,
the realism, but
he's not supposed to be real, man. It's not supposed to be realistic.
I know, but it's a real life movie with humans in it. It's not the cartoon, right?
How about Avengers, man? What would you say that is?
Well, Thor is the size of a human.
Yeah, I meant like the Hulk in that one. Like, he's not. I think he's proportional. Like, they show him, but he's not like.
But
The
the
biggest.
Hulk makes sense. I mean, he's always been portrayed as that size. Yeah, I know. I guess you're right. So you want to see Venom?
Not that big. I want to clarify this right now. I don't need him to be as big as the Hulk. Sometimes Venom has gotten that big, but I'm talking like he needs to. If he ever comes, toe to toe with Spider-Man, he needs to be like sizably bigger. Like, he needs to be able to pick him up by the throat as if he were kind of nothing, almost, because that's the Venom.
Sure.
Kind of think the '90s Venom. Remember that from the TV show? Like, Spidey was pretty jacked in that show, but Venom still had a little bit on him. He was still a little bit bigger. I'm sure they won't go super big with him, and we don't even know if they'll do. They said the horror aspect is going to be there, so I assume it's going to be this Venom. It's not going to be like Agent Venom, like Tom Hardy is the guy with the guns or whatever.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. I think the whole Agent Venom thing is out, just because that note, the horror note. So, yeah, I don't know. I think Eddie Brock.
The other thing I want to point out is if they do make Cletus Cassidy / Carnage the villain, if they do that, then they will definitely make Venom bigger just by comparison, because Cassidy or Carnage has always been kind of like this lanky, more Spider-Man-like Venom with the red.
Sure,
so they'll make
maybe
Venom
more
like
what we saw in Sam Raimi's number 3.
Exactly. Paint him red, that's Carnage right there, man. That's like, and then making axes with his tendrils. Like, they need to do a lot of tendril stuff. I hope the tendril work. I hope I can watch like a 10-minute documentary behind the scenes about like, we spent months on the tendrils. We wanted to make it just perfect, because I would watch that, like,
Sure.
be like glued to myself. I'd be like, cool.
Yeah. So, the thing about Venom that most that gets me just jazzed up, the thing about it is the design. And we'll talk about Alien Covenant in a bit here. Alien, H.R. Geiger's Alien. It's just the sexy kind of just cool design, the aesthetic, the detail, it's just cool, super cool. The same can be said for Venom. It's kind of a similar situation. The teeth, the tongue, the drool, the textures on the suit, the way it moves, that sort of thing. You just can't get any better than that. So, there's like an added dimension as opposed to like a Spider-Man where it's more of just a suit, right? Or even an Iron Man where it's just a suit. Venom is like a living thing, and you add in like the horror aspect of his face with the teeth and the huge mouth and the tongue and the drool. It just adds another dimension to it that kind of puts you on the edge of your seat a little bit anytime he's featured, right? So I'm hoping I get all those vibes out of the movie. I can still go back and watch the third Spider-Man film Raimi did, and that the Venom still gets me jazzed. I know it's not right, but being that it's kind of all we have besides animated stuff, that it gets my blood flowing a bit. Like it's cool.
Yeah, for sure. Well, like the part he's like holding Spider-Man down, and he's like, bah, bah. He's like kind of like laughing as he's like holding him there, and then later on he gets cut by the new goblins. I can't think of. They're not batarangs. They're like I don't know, like those flying glider things.
Well, they're batarangs. He stole them from Batman.
I have to look those up anyway. But he gets them cut, but then like there's kind of some blood, but the tendrils like come back together and just like form it back up. That stuff's so cool.
So like we said, we're just pointing out some good things from that film, even though we all agree that the casting was wrong.
Yeah, I just wish that Topher Grace didn't he probably signed something where he got a certain amount of face time, because all the times that we get close up with Venom, he likes to take the mask off to show that it's him. It's like, please leave it on. I know that you want to talk, but you look so much cooler when you have your creepy mask on. Like,
but his face.
It like comes back on in a cool way. It's like it overlaps itself until it's like all over him again,
which is really cool.
Yeah,
it's like it's reaching. It's constantly reaching. It's neat.
2 questions for you, Joe. Do you like the white Spider-Man symbol like on Venom? Do you like him on like a Venom? Do you like that?
Do I like the white Spider-Man symbol? Let's see.
On like when it's on him, typically it's more pronounced in like older things, and I don't know if it was as much.
It is. In the Raimi film, it blends in a little bit. Like even his eyes, they're not like superly pure white.
Yeah.
They're very organic looking. His eyes, and even the thing on his suit, which as long as it doesn't stand out too much. I think they don't have to go with the super bright white color. With the eyes, maybe a little more so, especially if there's light on it. But I'm looking. You can just Google pictures of Venom from that film, and you can kind of get a feel for what I'm talking about. It's very organic looking, and the white isn't like pure, if you know what I'm saying. So, do I like the symbol on his chest? I guess why is it even a thing, really? Why is it on there? Because the symbiote's trying to mimic Spider-Man, because that's who it first came in contact with.
Yeah, and that's who it kind of wants to be with, and that's just where it gets all of its powers, basically. So.
Yeah. So I guess it's fine. I always thought it was a moth, not a spider.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah, I thought there was something on that. Maybe we'll have to do a fact check sometime or tweet it out. But
the other question I have, I'm going to get to in just a second. They're called razor bats, by the way. I had to look it up. It was driving me nuts. They're called razor bats because I love the Green Goblin and his arsenal. Science.
Batman's rolling over in his grave.
Batman's fine. Wait, what? Anyway, second question. I don't know if I've asked you this before. Xenomorph, Joe, or Venom? I think I know which one would win out if you had to just pick between the two. Just one that you liked more from just the maybe look. Consider power set, but is there one that like edges out for you? I know you talk about Xenomorph a lot. You talk about Venom a lot. So is there one where you like?
Like, which would I rather be?
No. Which would you rather be? I
think we know that.
Venom's easy because you wouldn't want to be a Xenomorph because like you couldn't. With Venom, you could like you could change your clothes at any time. I think you can or you could just go back to being a normal person. You could go into Super Venom mode. Like Xenomorph, you're that forever. Like you're just like weird.
But which one do I prefer? Or which one do I think is a higher quality or more fun character? That sort of thing.
Whichever one you like. When you said more fun, I was picturing like Xenomorph with like sparklers in its hands, and it was like, oh, Xenomorph's having a good time. Like Venomorph's so emo. Or I said Venomorph. That would be pretty cool. Sorry, I slipped up there. No, Venom is the emo one, not Venomorph.
My answer is the Xenomorph, and here's why. I think with the Xenomorph, it's more animalistic, and you get some more unpredictable qualities. You don't always know exactly what it's going to do. There's unpredictable entry points. It just shows up. It's stealthy, and you're like, well, so is Venom. Yeah, but what's Venom really doing here? Is he ever stalking people in a building and eating them?
I believe so. Yes. consumes their life essence so he can remain.
Seriously.
I believe so. In some iterations, not all of them.
Okay. So let's say it's not as it's not such a direct thing with Venom, where Venom, like anytime you saw him in the animated series tussling with Spider-Man, it's like a tussle kind of a deal. It's not like he's eating Spider-Man, right? Or outright biting into him and bloodying him up. You know what I mean? They're just
wake up, kids, on Saturday morning to watch Spider-Man be brutally murdered. Like, we can't have Venom on the show anymore, man.
But do we know, like, is that a Venom thing? Is that what he's doing? Is he? I don't know. I guess I don't know as much about Venom as I wish I did. I love the character.
Yeah.
But the Xenomorph, there's so much history there. I just think the design is just outlandish and ridiculous, and in a good way. And I gotta admit, if I'm say I'm standing in the bay of a spaceship and I've got two doors on either side and I can see them both. One's in front of me on the left, one's in front on the right. Open the doors. Two creatures walk through. Venom on the left, Xenomorph on the right. Which one's going to make me shit my pants quicker?
I don't know.
Xenomorph. I'm sorry.
If that is what you, I'm not trying to get you to say like one is better than the other one. It's just that I guess you like Xenomorph more because it's more unknown. Maybe is the better word.
Exactly. Yeah, true. Whereas Venom still has the humanoid shape. There's still a bit of a human within that, right? And the Xenomorph is just, to me, a little bit more terrifying.
Yeah, fair enough. Cool. That's cool. They just have a lot of similar qualities, and I was just wondering if there's one. I figured that Xenomorph one because it's got a more pronounced design, than Venom.
Yeah, a little bit. And just more outlandish, if you ask me. Granted, Venom's pretty amazing, and the whole face and all that is pretty unreal. But
that'd be a good fight.
But the Xenomorph, man, that thing is, not to mention, think about this. I mean, it's intense. I mean, that thing is just coming at you any which way to kill.
That's true. That's true.
Or haul you back to reproduce, whatever. Which is another dimension that just freaks you out even more. So, yeah. All right, so that's my answer. Xenomorph. Your turn, Jimmy. Question number one. Which one do you prefer? What do you think on each? Which one's better?
Well, obviously, the Predator is the best, actually, when you think about it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, people. I like
this one.
I like them both. I think I just like I love the Xenomorph design-wise more, but I like Venom for being this, anti version of Spider-Man, because you have a lot of kind of antithesis to a lot of characters, but to Spider-Man, you look at someone and you're like, he has the exact same moveset you do. He nullifies your best ability, which is your Spidey sense, and he has all these tendrils and stuff, and he's just such a powerhouse that there's even been an occasion, I think, that there's plenty of occasions where they team up together, Spider-Man and Venom, to fight other people. That's always cool to me. Whereas the Xenomorph is kind of bland as far as like a character goes, because there can be like 1,000 Xenomorphs, so they just want to kill everything. They're not really. There's not much to them besides like, I must kill, like, and make more Xenomorphs. So.
And only in a couple movies do you really see like the hordes of Xenomorphs, and that's generally in the AVP realm. So,
or Aliens, which we should watch again, because I feel like I gotta go back and watch that movie.
Yeah, I almost feel like I gotta go back and watch all of them. There's the one that I don't like so much, which is the one where they're in that like prison dungeon thing.
Yeah, that one's weird. Yeah, and there's also like other versions of it. Yeah, like. It's weird. Apparently, was it 3 or 4? And apparently, Sigourney Weaver was talking about, she literally said in a statement, she said, they drove up like a truck full of money to my house and said, please, or something like that. One of those movies where she's just like, all right, like, as an actor, you're like, okay, like, whatever. Sounds good. But yeah. But anyway,
Resurrection was pretty good. I always enjoy Resurrection.
It's fine. It's corny.
I know people say that wasn't the best one, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it has its moments,
Yeah, no standout characters if you ask me, but I like the alien features.
I like Sigourney Weaver on the basketball court. I like to think after
Yeah,
that
I
movie
love that.
she lands and she just goes on to be a professional basketball player. Like it doesn't even matter what league she's in. She's just like with the men. She's just going all around, just poop.
And when she falls and skins her knee, the boards just melt underneath her.
Yeah, she's like ready to like get the ball or whatever, and she's just like she like brushes past the dude. He's like, "Oh my god!" And you're like, "Oh come on, dude! I didn't even touch you."
Just rolling on the ground. She just runs up and like high fives them all on the face, and they're all just like, ah!
Like, you gotta bring the heat or get off my court. Like that's
LeBron James is just like, ah, not the face. My career is over.
Man, getting dunked up by Sigourney Weaver. Oh, I'd watch that Alien 5 movie. I'd definitely watch that.
Yeah. All right, so back to Venom. You had a second question. You said question number 1, and we both took a turn at it. What's your second question?
Oh, I asked it already. It was the first part, which was, did you like the white symbol on his suit?
Oh, that one. All right. Yeah. So, I guess anything else to say about Venom? I can say we're both equally pretty pumped about Tom Hardy. I think it was a good casting choice, and he'll fit the role. We don't have any qualms there, right?
Yeah, no, it seems like we have to wait till October 2018, which a good time of the year. I love that it's coming out in fall time.
Early October, and shooting or production is going to start here September, October too. So they've got about a year to get her done, which is
crazy. Like I feel like this should take longer, but
yeah, I mean most movies seem to take longer when you find out about them, but
well, this one's also R-rated, so the budget will be lower. Whereas, like in Avengers, they usually give a lot of time to because they know it's going to make a lot of money, and they need to spend a lot of time and money just doing all the stuff. Whereas this won't have as many effects and stuff.
It might not be as long running time-wise, right? Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be good. I'm just taking a little peek here at some information to see if there's anything else we should mention about it.
Really what we're waiting on now is just one concept art, or piece of, like, maybe even from the set, but it'll probably just be like a concept image of him in the city.
Yeah.
And that people will be like, all right, and that's Joe and I will definitely.
That'll be enough to get people jacked up, right? And we'll spend an hour on it.
They'll be like, so if you can see here, like he's drooling, but there's more drool coming out of the left side of his mouth than the right side, and that's symbolic in some way. No, yeah, I'm looking forward to it though, and I love that superhero movies are now coming out at all times of the year. People are like, it's oversaturated or whatever. As a fan of superheroes, I love it because it just means that we can get creepy ones in October now, which is great. Like, please do more of that when they inevitably do Spawn. Hopefully he'll come out around then too. It's like, keep it coming. Just Sony, please reconsider the whole Spideyverse thing that you're trying to do by yourself. Don't do it. Just stay with Marvel. Stay with Disney, because that is where you will be strongest. Because you're gonna screw it up. And when you screw it up, you're gonna pay for it. Dividends, baby. Just like Amazing Spider-Man. We all saw it. Oh my goodness. Whew.
Yeah. So director for this movie is Zombieland's Ruben Fleischer.
Yeah, he did something else that was it Gangster Squad?
Yeah, Gangster Squad in the director's chair.
I heard people didn't like that movie. I liked Gangster Squad a lot. Zombieland's fine, but I'm wondering if because of both those movies, like it's gonna have some kind of like a little more color to it than I think a Venom movie normally would have, which I like. Have it pop a little bit. So, yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, he's known for a lot of small screen work.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
he does gore though. In both Gangster Squad and Zombieland, he does a lot of that. So there will probably be some pretty gruesome deaths, maybe by Venom's own hand. Hopefully.
Well, we hope so. Rated R, there's got to be something crazy, right? So
I just we haven't. I'm sure someone will correct me on this, and Spawn has done this a little, and maybe some others here and there, but we haven't really had a full length feature film after or during this golden age of superheroes where it's focusing on potentially a villain. We don't know that yet if he's going to be the bad guy, but if it is and he is, that's pretty cool to me. Think of it like an Alien movie where the xenomorph is there the entire time as opposed to just like the last 10 minutes. Like that's kind of cool. Like which was like, I don't know, I guess this this last movie. Or 20 minutes, I should say, 20, 30 minutes. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited about it. I'm hoping it's good. We just need to see a little bit more. You know, it's going to be a while before we see anything, but we'll see some concept art. Mark my words. We'll see some.
Yeah. You know, they talk here in the article that I was looking at. It sounds like Venom, he starts out as more of a villain and just basic hatred for Spider-Man, but eventually evolves into that more anti-hero that we kind of typically associate him with, where he's, you know, like defending homeless and that sort of thing. I think it takes time for it to get to that point.
Yeah, exactly.
Initially, I think he's overcome by hatred to Spider-Man. So
yeah, and that's why I was really hoping for this one or the Sinister Six movie that they were going to do for a long time, is that they would do it from the point of view of the villains and then make Spider-Man the villain. Like, if you could do that, it'd be so cool. I don't know how you would, because it's like if Spider-Man saves like a woman from getting hit by a bus, how do you make that guy look like the bad guy? But I don't know. It would be,
I don't know.
It'd be weird.
Riddle me that. Riddle me that. So, for anybody, it was funny. Jimmy was talking there at the end there, and if you could have seen me on screen, I did like a like a real vaulting jump. I was just like, because I had clicked on something that's coming up down the road here I wanted to talk about, and it was just a link, and it happened to have a video, and that video was really loud in my headphones, and it was people screaming and being killed. So
just classic, whatever joke popping up. He's like, yeah, just put this on.
Yeah, I look at these weird things all the time. No, it was something associated with a film we'll be discussing, and I think anybody can guess at what that is. So, all right. So not much more to say on Venom. We covered a lot, talked about him for quite a while, as a matter of fact. But hey, good characters deserve our time, right? And Venom is at the top of the list. So, moving on now. This news, sad, but not necessarily big news to a lot of people. I think you know, I didn't hear a lot about it until just recently, and I think you even made me aware of it. But I don't think it's been, you know, widely advertised or you know, right in everybody's face. But I guess Zack Snyder had to step down from creating Justice League due to death in the family. I guess his daughter had committed suicide in March. It seems like they kept it under wraps for quite a while. Very unfortunate, but you know, it sounds like they're bringing Joss Whedon in to fill the shoes and finish up the film, which, hey, maybe it's a good thing. You know, Joss Whedon, proven track record. Let's see what he does with the rest of the film, huh?
Yeah, definitely. Well, it sounded like they'd done most all of it, and they were just going to have to shoot a few more things here and there, but a lot of it was just like post work, as it were, just kind of editing and doing all this stuff. But
which sometimes is the most strenuous and drawn out portion of the production. So
yeah, and I know a lot of people are probably worried that it's going to be like, oh, the Joss Whedon version, like Avengers style, but it's too late. You know, it's like he could go through
it's already too deep, right?
Yeah, so he's just going to fix some stuff. But yeah, really unfortunate news. I know we've kind of in the past been kind of, you know, hit or miss, or not even hit, I should say, on a lot of those Zack Snyder films, especially for DC. But, you know, regardless of who it is, that's really, really unfortunate. And our hearts go out to you, Mr. Snyder, and everybody over at everybody was affected by it, because they kept it that really quiet. And, you know, that's really respectful to the family. And seeing that Zack said, I tried to bury myself with work. He's like, I tried to go out for like 2 more months, and then he's just like, I can't do it. So I think it was just the right call, and I think Joss Whedon is a perfect person to come in, and he's like, I've done this thing before, guys. It's not like he's like, I've dealt with the exact same thing, just on the other end. Just like I can help.
Don't worry, it's in good hands. So, and interestingly enough, Zack's wife, Deborah Snyder, was a producer on Justice League. She's also stepping back to take a hiatus. But man, how unfortunate that, you know, even in my own personal life, I've you know, ran into that or known somebody who's dealt with like a suicide in the family, or someone they knew, And more oftentimes than not, it's like a depression issue or something of that nature. And, there's a lot that can be said about it. Something you just can't take lightly. You see people dealing with a tough time. Better hope that you're treating people right? You don't want to mistreat somebody that's in a bad situation like that, and then something bad happens, such as suicide. But I just I tell you, I wonder if it's something to do with today's society, the pressures, the influences, etc. It's unfortunate, really is. But
we have no way of knowing unless they tell us, which I don't think they don't need to, nor should they necessarily. But I think it just goes to show that this stuff happens to everybody. Everyone can be affected by it, and if you or someone is really having this problem internally, don't hold it in. Suicide is taboo for some odd reason in our society, but it shouldn't be, because it's happening a lot. And I think the more and more we talk about it, the less weird and macabre it seems. So please never hesitate to share that. If you have that feeling, share it with someone that you trust, or hope that you can just reach out to them, because you know what, even the nicest little thing can really change somebody's life. So yeah.
Well, we kind of took a little bit more of a serious tone there, a little bit of a turn. So let's get back at it. Bring the spirits up again and get after some more news, shall we? So I think next on the agenda here, Jimmy, we've got Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh yeah,
I think clearly a game that we're all super excited about. Unfortunate news regarding the game. Unfortunately, it's been pushed from fall 2017 to spring of 2018. Well, doesn't seem like a long wait, but adding on a few months may be worthwhile in the long run. These guys make some pretty stellar games, and giving them a little bit more time can be a good thing. So, Jimmy, I think you said it best. Poorly made game is forever. Pushing it back a few months is only temporary.
Yeah, people get so weird about delays. They're like, how dare you? And I get,
put more money at it, get more people in there.
Well, yeah, and I understand like the thought maybe around more of like the holidays, where you buy something in advance, you pre-order a game, and you think like, it's gonna be in November, it's fine, I'm gonna be able to give it to my loved ones. Crap, I can't do that now.
Sure, the uncertainty.
But for a lot of people, it seems like we have this weird kind of like ownership over when a game releases, an arbitrary date that a company made for a product they want you to buy. And like, that's what, they want you to have that ownership, they want you to have that love. But some people just are like, how dare you delay it? It's like, please, I'd rather have you delay it as opposed to having like a huge day one patch where I get home, I put it in, and it's like, well, now you gotta wait like a while because you can't play it right now. You just gotta patch it.
At the same time, though, I wonder if it's detrimental to the company a little bit. I know it'll go gangbusters and they'll sell plenty, but being around, releasing it in the fall, like early November, I mean, come on, it's perfect for the holiday season. It's under every tree and every stocking. Are they going to take a little bit of a hit?
It's interesting that you bring that up, Joe, because that's definitely a point of contention. So I was reading up on this because I don't really follow a lot of stock stuff, but apparently, I think it was Take-Two Interactive, maybe 2K, one of those. Anyway, whoever's Rockstar's parent company, they took a little bit of a hit in the stocks after that announcement, but now it's back up and it's at like a record high or something, or it was for a bit. So stuff changes all the time. And the thing with Grand Theft Auto, I think it was like the 7th best-selling game of March this year, like Grand Theft Auto 5, Joe, which came out in 360 and all that stuff, and Xbox One,
which is getting pretty old, right?
Yeah, so that just means that, like a superhero film, it doesn't matter when you do this type of thing anymore, because you know what? This is like Star Wars. If Red Dead says, yeah, we're shooting for April or May, everybody says, well, like everybody's like, no thanks, I'm just gonna wait, like, because they're gonna get buried. You're a week before, a week after, it doesn't matter, a month before, a month after. Like, you gotta give that space, because that game is still gonna crush it in 2018.
Yeah, every other game company's like, all right, we're pushing our stuff to 2018 fall, maybe 19 spring, I don't know, but we're pushing it.
Yep, and you bet your bottom dollar right now that you will see an Xbox Scorpio bundled with that game. that will happen, and they will say this is the best looking way to play this on consoles on this system.
You're probably absolutely right. Maybe that had something to do with the pushback, huh?
Oh, I think they said that it was something about that they haven't had any problems, but it's the first time that they're making a fully new game on the new generation of consoles. So they said they wanted to take their time and make it as great as possible, and they have the utmost confidence in it, but they don't want to rush it out the door because they have a high caliber, they've got a level of prestige that they have to maintain, because that allows them to drop a game at any time. They drop Red Dead Redemption 2 on a Sunday night, and without telling anybody, that game would still be crazy, it would be sold out. People would be like, oh my god, it's out, let's go, 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 so I think it's still going to do really freaking well. But you're right, they are missing this holiday, but they're just going to hit the next one and the next one. Just with this game, it's going to be that good. They're just going to keep.
Everybody will buy it for the kids for Easter baskets, right?
Yeah, it's just going to be.
It'll be. Yeah, I think they'll do just fine. And if what you say is true, which I would have to agree with you, it probably will be bundled with a Scorpio. If that's the case, I'll be buying that bundle.
Yeah, well, also at E3, they usually don't reveal too much about this kind of thing, Joe. But if Sony or Microsoft talks about exclusive DLC coming first to Scorpio or to PlayStation 4 Pro, that is where I'd see that bundle come up first. But I don't think they'll talk about it a lot at E3, but they might show a little bit more. But I'm just hopeful to get a little more information about it. I wanted it to come out this fall, but because there's been such a crazy amount of games right now, and now we have Destiny coming out as well, Destiny 2. I'm happy that they are doing that, because I'm thinking, crap, how am I going to play through all Destiny and Red Dead and be like, all right, let me review these things for you guys. And people are like, man, it's just hundreds and hundreds of hours, man. So, yeah. I'm excited, though. I think it'll be good, and it's okay. It's okay. Just something to look forward to.
It is. It's okay.
Yeah. It's good.
Yep. Like you said, poorly made game, that's forever.
Yeah, exactly. And it's going to come out around the same time as Infinity War, Avengers. It's going to be a beautiful spring next spring. It's going to be too much.
Shnikes.
I'm going to be like,
my heart.
Take it.
So many reviews.
Thanos has a revolver. What in my mind? It's all muddled. I can't think.
He rides a horse.
I mean, into Asgard. No. No.
Yeah, well, I don't know that there's much more to say about that. We did see some screenshots, so they did throw the fans a bone. They sent out some screenshots of the game to say, hey, check it out. Even though we pushed it, we thought we'd give you a little teaser to, appease your quench your thirst. So, good on them for that.
I love it. Yeah,
good PR. I will say this, the imagery is pretty beautiful. So
yeah, it looks good. Yeah. We're really hoping for customization. I don't know if the whole campaign is going to be play with your buddies and customize your gang, which I think there's a really good chance it's going to be that. But from what we've seen, they're alluding to a lot of robberies, Bandito walking by a train. There's a caravan going by, a stagecoach. It's okay, how many of these things can I rob? I want that. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, Jimmy, this brings us to probably the best segment of tonight's podcast. In my eyes. You just saw it this afternoon.
Did.
I caught it on Friday evening this past weekend. We're talking Alien Covenant, people. Alien Covenant. I hope some of you saw it. My review will be coming out, or has come out by the time you're hearing this.
It will.
I hope that weighed on your thoughts to go see it, and I hope it gave you a good background. So, Jimmy and I, having seen it recently, fresh on our brains, we want to talk about it a little bit. I guess I want to start off, Jimmy, being that you saw it just recently. What are your thoughts? What do you think? What did you feel like when you walked out of the movie theater?
Sure. So before I get into a little more, I'm just going to tell everybody right now, this is going to be as I'm not going to spoil anything right now. Joe and I will be like, all right, we're going into spoilers. So yeah,
not quite yet. We'll get into them though.
Exactly. But yeah, kind of following Prometheus. I'm happy I watched Prometheus. I hadn't seen it until last week. It's not necessary to watch it.
You know what?
Kind of.
It kind of is. It kind of is. It explains some of the flashback. They only show like maybe one or two flashbacks in this movie, but um, it really helps light some dark corners if you've seen Prometheus.
I think
And you,
I was just gonna say to draw a parallel to something that is infinitely better in my mind. But if I would say like if you wanted, you could just watch The Lord of the Rings. But if you wanted to watch The Hobbit to say like, oh, like what's his story, like you could get that. Like so, it's kind of a similar thing. Like there are things where you're like, I don't know what that's about, and they kind of explain it a little bit. But that's why Prometheus is there, so you could be like, oh, okay.
yeah, or you can go see this and then go watch Prometheus and fill in the gaps of, oh, now I understand why that happened or that flashback there.
Yeah.
So.
And there's a ton of promotional stuff, Joe, out there that kind of gives away some plot points. So if you want to know about what happens at the end of Prometheus, they film some stuff for certain characters that go into this movie that is not in the film. So it's very strange that they did that. But anyway. But yeah, quick synopsis. Bunch of people going to this new planet to colonize. There's a bunch of colonists that are in hypersleep, and there's a crew of people who get woken up a little early because of a neutrino burst from a nearby star. They hear a weird message from a planet that's nearby, and they decide to stop by because it is a very habitable planet. And they decide, why not? Let's just take this bunch of people here, and instead of going to the place,
it seems too good to be true. It seems perfect. So instead of going 7 years farther, they're why don't we stop in a few days? We'll be there.
Yeah.
So they take a chance.
Yep, they take a chance, and as you can imagine, everything kind of doesn't work out. But
yeah,
I was gonna say, you asked me how I felt walking out of the theater. I felt I never feel good coming out of scary movies. I don't go see scary movies a lot. I was sitting in the theater today, Joe, and I was like watching the title pop up, which is very reminiscent of the original Alien, which I appreciated because I've been editing Joe's review that has that, and I was like, man, I'm sitting in this row all by myself watching this horror film. I'm about to. What am I doing? Why? Like, because I don't like scary movies usually. I'm just like, here we freaking go. But because I've looked over so many trailers and edited all the stuff, I knew kind of where things were going to go, and some moments came a little bit earlier, which is cool. But I kind of walked out and I was like, I didn't feel great because it's like it's a movie about like a bunch of murder and stuff, and like we're happy. It's not like, oh yeah, like everybody lived and they're all buds now. It's
don't you kid yourself, man. The Hulk kills people all the time. You just don't quite see it.
Yeah, it's true. If the Hulk bursts out of somebody's chest, that'd be pretty messed up.
Yeah. Or back.
Yeah, exactly. That too. For me, it's not usually my cup of tea. I appreciate the designs of a lot of these things. I appreciated the sets, which were pretty cool. Some things
I second that.
Yeah, some things didn't make a lot of sense to me. The thing that I had a problem with Prometheus and this movie too is that they aren't bringing the two essential items that are a necessity when you're investigating any planet. You should bring both headgear or like a full like biohazard suit, which they have in Prometheus, and you should also bring weapons, which they have in this movie. But in the cases of both of them, like in the first movie, they didn't have any guns or anything really, and then in this, but they just didn't bring with them. And then in this movie, they're just walking around like they're like, oh, it's fine, the air is breathable. No, don't do it. You know, they tell you, Joe, not to drink the tap water when you go to another like country or whatnot. So if you're going to a new planet, maybe don't do anything like as far as like sticking your face over things or putting your face next to stuff and smelling things. It's like, it's all a bunch of idiots. Like everybody
on shit and watch the things float around and breathe it in.
Everybody is like you said it in your review, but it's just the same problem every horror movie, almost all of them have, is that everyone is an idiot. Like, and they got to build up to it. Whereas, like Aliens,
it's almost not just this genre. There's a lot of genres that do it. It just depends. But
that's just an easy way to get people to die. It's just I prefer ones. I have to watch Aliens again, but I like that a little more because it says here's the threat from the beginning. You don't have to make the threat yourself. It's the threat's here. Like, people aren't dumb and dying because of that right from the get-go. And this one, people are just so dumb. And there's some moments where I watch people and I think, all right, Jimmy, if you were scared right now and slipping on blood, would you be able to, you know, line up a shot with a shotgun and kill something? It's like, would you blow yourself? No, I didn't say who, and I didn't say what specifically. I didn't say there's plenty of guns throughout this thing.
Yeah.
But I just don't like. Would you be able to put yourself in that situation? Would you be a crazy lunatic as well, like these scientists? I don't know. It just, there's so many parts where, and I'll get into spoilers, but there was a straight up movie ruin moment that I was giggling at. But yeah, it's fine compared to the other Alien movies. It's not the best. It's not the worst. That's what I'm gonna say. It's definitely not Alien. It's not Aliens, but it is much better, I think, than Alien 3. I think it's better than Prometheus, and this one technically, Joe, had a smaller budget than Prometheus, which is crazy to me.
Really?
It still
that
looks
is
really
crazy.
Good. There were some CG.
I think it looks amazing.
There are some CG elements that I think looked fake as, to quote Australians, but it like put whatever you want after that. Some of it looked. I'm like, this. It looks cool, but I just know it's not real. I just know, like, the certain other things they have to deal with. I was like, that just looks like, especially after watching the behind the scenes stuff, I was like, this should look better. Like, come on. But
I don't know. I didn't catch too many of those moments, but I'll admit, when I went into the movie, I went into it like it's the weekend. I'm going to relax, and I'm just going to immerse in this movie and enjoy it. And I sat there, and I didn't necessarily go into it with the review state of mind. I went in it like open mind. Watch it, enjoy it, and kind of gather your thoughts after the fact.
That's a review state of mind.
With that, maybe I missed a detail or two, or didn't pay attention to the very finite details of design. I thought I did a pretty good job, and if you go in with that mindset and you're just enjoying it, I don't know that you'll quite catch things like what you caught, but I don't doubt what you're saying. So and there are some laughable moments, I won't lie. And you talk about the decisions and everything, and why don't they wear freaking hazmat suits and stuff? Like, no one knows. That's stupid. All I can think is maybe it was one of the first things that crossed my mind, don't get me wrong, but maybe they did some analysis of the atmosphere and they're like, it's good to go, there are no pathogens, no unknown this or that, and I'm just like, okay.
Yep. They did do that. It's hard. You talk about being like having a construction background. I have a scientific background, and it just really hurts to see like the premise of a lot of these films are a bunch of really intelligent scientists, some of the best and brightest, and they walk out there and they're all just flipping morons. It's like, oh, they weren't like used to the field. It's like, yeah, but there's some things that any human being would say, maybe we shouldn't
take some precautions.
Yeah, exactly. Which I appreciate in this one. They did have some military personnel with them, which I was thought, yeah, perfect. Thank you. Because there's like 2,000 colonists who are sleeping on this ship. There should be people here who could defend it if they needed to. I'm like, yes, that's great. Like, more of that, please. But yeah, for me personally, I'd probably give it like 6.5 or 7 out of 10. That's just me. Not the greatest, not the worst. Solid.
Say it one more time.
6.5 or 7 out of 10 for me personally, but
7 out of 10.
Yeah. Like I said, not the best, not the worst. Okay. I have to go back and watch Aliens and Alien again. It tries to be Alien near the end of the film, a little bit, and that's not a spoiler. It tries to kind of get that claustrophobia back, which I like. But yeah, I'll get into more of it with spoilers, and then maybe you can understand. So yeah.
Yeah, well, we need to get to the spoilers, Jimmy. People have heard my review. If you haven't and you've gotten to this point, please go check it out. I think it's a good time to go do that. It's spoiler-free, or as spoiler-free as I can make it. I allude to some things, but nothing that would ruin the movie-going experience. So maybe check that out. Come back. We're going to get into the spoilers and the nitty-gritty right here, right now.
I'm turning the spoiler switch on. Like, there it is. There it goes.
I expected to see sparks and maybe a little flame. I don't know. Anywho.
Sorry. Before we start, Joe, I want to publicly say this. I think for your first review, you did a bang up job, bud. I was looking over the script, and you are so comprehensive. Joe like took it to a new level. Like he's talking about like the old stuff. I was pulling footage from old things. He was going like behind the scenes stuff. So this review, not only is it like kind of pretty spoiler free if you've seen the trailers and some of the other promotional stuff, but it also does a good job of saying like, hey, this is what's behind the scenes, or like if you wanted to look at some of the stuff, I show some images that kind of represent that. And your love for the franchise didn't skew, I don't think, your review. I know you said you didn't go into it with a review mindset, but keeping an open mind is the review mindset. Like if you went in and you're like, I love Xenomorph gets a 9 out of 10 at least for me. Like you didn't, that's not,
no matter what. Show me a Xenomorph, I'll give you a 9.
Yeah, or even a 10 if I see 2 of them, or something. But I really appreciate it.
Well, like you say, an open mind though, I think helps you develop a more accurate review.
Yeah.
If you go in with, okay, I get we're critical reviews. We got to be finite and specific on things and really pay attention to detail. But I also want to keep that open mind and try and immerse myself in the film as much as I possibly can. If it can't be done, obviously it affects the review. But I want to pretend I'm the average moviegoer. What's the average moviegoer going to really take in and think of what they're seeing here? What are things that are going to stand out to the average person, or maybe somebody who's got a more detailed eye? And you can differentiate those things and talk about them. So I guess that's kind of what I did. And, there might be a slight bit of bias in that I love Alien and that design, and more so just the creature. I love the creature, the H.R. Geiger art. I just think it is I say it in the review, and you've heard it by now. The H.R. Geiger Alien is iconic, is the Nike swoosh, and will be for eternity. It just is, and that's something that can't be denied. The movies, however, up for debate, right? So
well, you're touching on some good points, and I want to just say that when I think of like a movie, I think of like what do they do really well, what could they have done better. And so when let's say I gave a movie like Guardians, I gave like a 9. I think like it's like they could have done a few things better, but they did so many things right. And that's just like an example of that. Whereas like Gears of War 4, I gave like an 8.5. I love Gears of War, and as a fanboy, that's a 10 out of 10 game, because like the beginning opening alone, I'm like, this is so cool. But then when I look at it and I say, all right, like look at this game, think of all the things, the multiplayer and all that, what does it give you? But and you said people have been talking about this a lot, but I want to just say this too. Critical. I look up this word, I look up the definition, and on Google, this is what it states. It's probably like a special dictionary.com. But the second definition here is, the first one says expressing adverse or disapproving comments or judgments. That's the first one that comes to mind a lot. The one I go to mostly is expressing or involving an analysis of the merits and faults of a work of literature, music, or art. And yes, the word merits are in there because a critical eye is necessary, because a lot of times people, it's just like, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks. What's cool about it? The sick design, the really cool sets, the actors. Like,
as with anything, there's no such thing as perfection, and you got pros and you've got cons, and somebody's got to be able to take them, weigh them out, and say there's this and there's this, and get them down, right, and lay them out for people. And I hope I did that in my review. I appreciate your kind words, Jimmy. I really do. And I haven't seen it by the time we're recording this, but I'm really excited to see the video montages that you've added in there and the editing you've done.
I hope you like it. I tried some new things, so forgive me.
And I know we always say thank you to Joran Evers at the end of the show, but I'm going to say thanks right now. I know he created a special little piece for the review, reviewed by Joe Lever, which is awesome. I really appreciate that. So my first exclusive CR piece, my own dealio. So I'm pretty excited about that, and I hope people like it. So, and thanks, Jimmy, for your work on the piece.
Well, yeah, man, like your quotes, there's like a few in there that really stood out to me that like I feel like they would be on the box of the movie when it comes out. It would say, I don't remember exactly. No, I'm not gonna do this to you. I want to look up exactly what you said, because it's too good. And now, okay, again, if you haven't seen the review, I don't want to take this away from Joe because this is just a little snippet of something amazing. This film is a brutal symphony of fire, blood, and gore that'll leave you on the edge of your seat and wanting more. That's so good, dude. Like, that's... all right. Anyway, sorry. Spoilers.
Thanks.
We talk a lot of good things here.
Now, no one's going to go check out my review. They're just going to think, well, he just gushed about it the whole time. I like to think that I did. I pointed out the parts that I really appreciated about it, and I pointed out a couple things that kind of pulled me out of the immersive experience, and that's what I set out to do. I didn't want to just be all good because I know that there were some things that were quite literally not the greatest. So, and one of them that you mentioned, Jimmy, and we got into it right away, is the whole just stupid decision making and putting themselves in bad situations. It happens, it starts off that way twice before they get to the planet and when they get on the planet, and then the singular things where people go off and do different things. So it just gets annoying, and you wish there was more creativity put into those developing situations. But
the problem I have the most, I think, is that we talk about these people being intelligent or supposedly intelligent, or these engineers, these scientists, these crew members, and really it devolves into that old school, like a high school slasher film where you have two people who just would be like, man, it's been a rough day. We should probably go have sex in the shower. That's a good idea. Or like, I'm going to go have a smoke. I'm just going to go over here for a little bit. Or I'm going to go down this basement. I think we should split up right now. Or yeah, I need to go clean. I got to clean up. I'm kind of dirty. So I'm just going to go. Where are you going? Where are any of you going? If this stuff happens, if one of these things happens, you've watched at this point one or maybe two of your crew members, heck, three of them blow up or have things come bursting out of them and die in a horrible fashion. This is not the time to say, you know what, I need a few moments to myself, because the people who have actually lost loved ones, those are the ones who are usually in the group. But man, the worst one of it all, though, comes in this beautiful segment that is the absolute worst part of the film. There's this other alien called a neomorph, I think. They're like the white ones. These are the ones I was talking about, Joe, where I was like, I can tell it's CG. And David,
yeah, for sure.
And David, the synthetic who was there from Prometheus, he has this moment where he kind of like breathes into the mouth of it, and the neomorph breathes into his mouth, and the captain of the ship is standing behind him with a gun pointed at it, and he's like, don't shoot. And he's like, if you breathe into the nostrils of a horse, it's yours forever, but you got to get close to it. And then the captain, rightly so, starts shooting that thing and kills it because it just killed one of his crewmates. It's like, all right. And then David freaks out. And he's like, no, blah, blah, you killed it. And he's pointing a gun at David. He's like, you know what, man? You got to tell me exactly what happened here because I don't trust you. And he says, all right. And then he proceeds to show him those iconic egg sacs. And this captain follows him down into his basement after killing like his baby or whatever.
Yeah, and you can tell by David's reaction that he's not happy with you. What do you think he's going to do?
He goes like full tilt, because in Prometheus, he wasn't necessarily like the super bad guy, but now like in this one he is. Anyway, so this guy, Billy Crudup, sticks his head, of course, as the scientist would. He's not even trying to waft the egg. He's just sticking his head over this thing. Facehugger gets him. Alien bursts out eventually. Little baby alien that is fully formed, like a fully baby xenomorph. It's not like that little one.
Oh, yeah. Do you have a problem with that? Like in the original ones and the older ones, it bursts out and it's kind of like a baby alien, you know?
I like that because then it's
like bursting out is like the full deal, and then they grow within like an hour.
Yeah, that
like in an hour they're full size.
It was weird because it came out and it was like fully formed and it was like really done textures wise. So it looked like a mini xenomorph coming out of like standing out his chest. And then the ultimate movie ruined is like David's looking at this thing that's burst out of this chest, and the little one's just like looking up at him. He raises his arms in the air like he's starting the YMCA, and then the baby xenomorph does the exact same thing. I was like, you've got.
Yeah, that was the mother chick or the mother hen baby chick moment that I referred to. That was the only part of it that I was like, God, this is like a Jurassic World moment. Like, stand down, Blue.
Yeah,
exactly.
I was just like, so. And then it's like, oh, he wants to create, and he was angry at his creator who made him pour tea for him once, like David was or something. And Joe, you know how I feel about doppelgangers. And this one I was okay with it, but then they started fighting, which was all right. but it's like Michael Fassbender versus Michael Fassbender. But earlier in the film, Michael Fassbender is giving recorder lessons to Michael Fassbender, and then he kissed himself. David kissed Walter, but then David also kisses the new Ripley. It's like a lot of kissing and a lot of freaking weird stuff. I don't know why they did this. So it's like,
oh yeah, why did he kiss the girl?
Because he just wanted to. Because Walter like was endeared to her, and I think he kind of wanted to have the same connection.
Oh, sure.
Kind of.
Yeah, basically, so Walter was like a more refined, updated version of the synthetic that David was. And Walter doesn't have the thinking or human cognitive power that David does. David was much more human-like, and as time went on, I guess humans didn't like that because he was too weird, I guess. Because they knew he was fake, but he was very human, and so they kind of dumbed down the newer versions to be more robotic and obedient, I guess, and not as free thinking. Like Walter couldn't compose a song on a recorder. David could. He could create, whereas Walter could not create anything, whether a simple tune or whether cooking, I guess you would say. So,
yeah. Also, not that they would know that he could heal himself. I would think they'd know if Walter could heal himself. But so at the end, which I saw coming a mile out, and a lot of people did too, is that David and Walter fight, and you don't know who wins. And then later on, Walter goes back to the ship, and he has a different accent. He has a little bit different voice. We're like, oh, it's Walter, whatever. But he hasn't healed himself. Like, he has got scratches and stuff, and nobody checks him. They don't check him at all, even though they do know that David kind of went nuts. So nobody on the ship. There's only a few people.
Wait, Walter could heal himself?
Walter could heal himself because remember he gets hit with the recorder in the throat, and then it gets taken out, and then it like comes back together, like his neck. It's like,
oh yeah, sure. I didn't realize what that was when I saw that. I was like, why did they show that?
Then he comes back and he fights him or whatever.
They made a few updates.
Yeah, so I thought even though Walter had lost a hand earlier because he had saved new Ripley from a neomorph by kind of punching it in the head, and he like his hand burned off. So he had one less hand, but he was updated, so they're kind of toe to toe for a bit. Anyway, at the very end of the film, which I knew was coming, I was like, oh my goodness, here we go. How do you keep the story going? They're going back into cryosleep. The new Ripley, whose name I keep forgetting, she looks up at him, and they had a moment before where the new Ripley, the female protagonist, had said, yeah, my husband and I we wanted to come out here and we wanted to start a new life. We wanted to be pioneers and build a log cabin together. And so she and Walter had a moment in the beginning where she said, I don't, now that he dies, because he died during the neutrino burst, he got fried alive in his cell. He like burned to death in his cryo sleep. She says, I don't know why I even bother with this. And Walter says at the beginning of the film, he's like, well, you made a promise to build a cabin, so you should fulfill that promise. He's like, oh, they have a moment there. It's like, that's cool. And then while she's falling asleep in the spot, she like kind of knocks on the god and says like, hey, Walter, are you going to help me? Would you help me build that cabin? And he just kind of looks at her like, what cabin? She's like, no, it's David. And then she falls asleep. And then David progresses to go put a few freaking face hugger embryos in like embryo storage. And man, there's one other part I want to talk about as far as really stupid stuff goes. A lot of people were putting their face near things they shouldn't have. The one that got me the most was the lady on the ship, the drop ship. So one of the guys is suffering from, he's going to have a neomorph burst out of his back, goes into the med bay with this other lady, the captain's wife, and this other person who is on the ship, an engineer, she's there. And she happens to be the wife of the guy flying the ship, the Danny McBride.
The big one up in the atmosphere.
Yeah, who, by the way, I actually really liked him. I
did too, Tennessee.
I thought he was cool. I usually hate Danny McBride, and I was like, you're cool in this film. You're not weird and dumb. I was like, you did a good job. Anyway, so his wife's down there, and she's freaking out. She doesn't know. She's like, calling back up to him. She's like, oh my God, people, there's something wrong, blah, blah. So she quarantines the dude who's freaking out and the captain's wife in this spot. And she like goes back and forth from this room to the bridge of this dropship like 3 times or whatever, just to like call out to people. And she's like calling back to the other people who are out on the planet. She's like, get back here right now, something's happening. And she gets a gun goes back into the room after that guy has the thing burst out of his back, tries to shoot the neomorph who's attacking the captain's wife right now, because that's just what they do. All aliens attack people. Screws that up.
Because she slips on blood and misses.
Tries to leave because she's kind of hurt herself.
Barely gets the door shut after she gets her ankle shut in it.
Yep, exactly. Her leg gets shut in the door, so she's limping away eventually. Thing like bashes its way out of the window of the med bay, runs out to attack her, gets caught up in this net. Perfect shot. Barrel is like in its chest. She slips or does something again, accidentally shoots a flammable container or a gas tank or a gas main, blows up the entire ship. And this is like, if you put that old Benny Hill music, like that, music would have been perfect because it's just so comical. It's like
she just wasn't qualified to do anything specific like that.
Well, it just boggles my mind because it's just like, don't let that dude on the ship. Maybe and they have all these quarantine procedures. They talk about these quarantine procedures, and I know the thing busted out of the medical room, but she just like, Joe, would you be hanging out there anymore? She drops that first shotgun and goes to grab another one. It's like, just get off the ship. And then as the ship explodes, you see it like the little neomorph runs out of the ship, and it's like, okay, that one didn't even like, okay, all right.
Yeah, okay. Not to mention, you could have got the captain's wife out at any time. Or what would you have done if you saw something bursting out of that guy's back? Well, I guess I wouldn't have hung around there because what if it's an airborne deal, which it technically was, but it was in him already. So,
but she's already like, even though the guy kind of vomits up blood on the captain's wife, and she kind of locks him in there, thinking it's like, you would have been exposed to that too if it's an airborne thing. Like
it's over already.
So go in that room with the shotgun and point at the dude's spine and put him down, because the captain's wife's like hugging the dude as he's freaking out. It's like,
then she gets poked by a spine coming out of the spine, and it's a whole thing. But yeah, I mean, I guess my reaction is if I was exposed, I'd be like, doom, 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 doom. I'd freaking lob a grenade in that damn thing.
Yeah, I'm putting that guy down. I'd say, I'm sorry, pal. Like, I'm putting it in barrel in your chest and just or in your spine, and just.
It's all that smoking, his lungs.
He lied too. He's like, I'm gonna go take a leak, and then he goes to smoke for a bit. It's like, you could smoke next to her. On like, you shouldn't be throwing. Also, I kept thinking, what if he's by some methane or something? Like, what? You can't just start throwing cigarettes around on a new planet, man. Like,
forest fire burns the whole surface of the planet.
Like the part, this is shifting gears a lot, but did you like the part where David went and saw all the engineers and killed all the engineers? Like that part?
Well, at the end of Prometheus, that's why it kind of pays to see the movie Prometheus from 2012. In that movie, him and Dr. Shaw, who I have another point I want to get to related to Shaw, remind me. Okay. So at the end of that movie, she's like, I want to find where the bastards live. And they I think there's some more dialogue there, but basically they want to search out where they live, not to find out. She wants to find out why, or she wants to destroy them. So
let's find out why.
Yeah, but they end up destroying them by dropping the payload in the ship that they stole, because they had a payload of pathogen that basically like ate away the bodies and created all the mold and spores and stuff, I think. And it killed basically all living creatures, non-plant life on the planet. So everything. But yeah, and so David along the way went that's how they lead into that. And Dr. Shaw made it to the planet with David by flying that ship. She's the one who recorded that Mountain Roads by
John Denver.
Yeah.
Some road.
Yeah. Mountain Roads, take me home. Yeah. So he was playing that in the ship, and it kept playing that hologram, which was somehow transmitting radio waves into space that they caught. But so they destroy all of the engineers who were like scientists and creators of presumably humans and life on Earth, as well as like these pathogens that were on the ship. So They destroy all the life there. Boom. David is the only one who can survive there because he's a synthetic. So yada yada. One thing leads to another. And I guess he had great affection for Shaw, and she had Dr. Shaw, the woman from Prometheus, and I guess she had put him back together after he had been decapitated. And I think he repaid her by killing her or infecting her with an alien. So
that's all in the promotional video, Joe. They show all of that, and that's like a big kind of like a plot spoiler. Is like
I don't remember seeing that in any promotionals.
It's like it was viral marketing. Like they put it out there so that we were like, oh, if you want to see this, it's like a lead into it. But yeah, this like the fact that she put him back together and then he like killed her in kind, even though he told people she died in the crash. I was just like, they could have put that in this movie. I don't think that would have been bad to show her in this movie.
Yeah. Just based on the way David was treated through his life and all that, he's a synthetic and he can think for himself a little bit too much, and there's no like protocol with him. So he kind of went a little batshit crazy and thought that humans just don't deserve to live, and he was going to start over a whole new species to take over, sort of a deal. But he kind of used Dr. Shaw as part of his experiments to engineer a creature. And they show his little laboratory where he's doing all these anatomy sketches and stuff and science work, and they show different versions of like creatures he's created, and they're all kind of xenomorph-esque, like different variations of it based on whatever he used to produce them, like bugs, frogs, and small animals, those sorts of things. And they kind of show that. I forget who it is, but somebody, was it Daniels, which is the girl that you were trying to place? She walks by. Is she the one who walks by and she sees Shaw's body spread open on a table and all like preserved and gross?
Oh, was it that one? But it's kind of like an engine. I thought it was like an engineer body, but is that Shaw?
I'm pretty sure it was Shaw.
Oh, really? Oh,
it looked like a woman, or there was hair and all that. So
I don't think so, because maybe he lied, but he's like, I buried her here. I buried Shaw here in the garden amongst living things. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that was kind of a lie, because I think they show her spread on a table. Well, just all the more reason to rewatch it and catch some of these details maybe we're a little blurry on, but I could have swore it was Shaw, and I thought, oh, that's a shocker. There she is, like he really did some nasty stuff. And it just really cool. So that was the Shaw thing. That the other part that I wanted to get to about her is that I think he used her as like part of his experiments to engineer creatures. So basically this movie is showing how the xenomorph came to be, and David was engineering creatures similar to them all along, and finally came across the formal and most perfect rendition of the creature, and that was the xenomorph.
The first time you see it really is when it jumps down kind of and attacks those two guys who are being idiots. One gets attacked by a facehugger or whatever, and they're like, what the hell is that? And then you see it, and I was like, here we go. Not that you need more of it, but I was kind of hoping we would get more of the xenomorph in this movie.
I won't lie, I wanted a little more.
Yeah, it just like wasn't enough. It was at the very, like I said, the end of this movie, it turns into the first Alien. Again, like they want it to be that. They're like, oh, an alien's on the ship, like xenomorph's on the ship. But it's like such a cool character, and they just don't, like, it does a few things here and there, but not.
But I do like that it's got a bit of a Predator feeling to it, where they're on the planet in the wildlife and the temple, that sort of deal. If they would have carried that on just a little more, I think it could have been cool. But nonetheless, I have to agree with you. Part of me was really, really hoping and crossing my fingers that we would see more of the xenomorphs. We get some of the neomorphs and stuff like that, which are a little different.
They're
quite a bit different.
That's stupid. Like, I don't know, they're little white, stupid things. I was like,
this is still a little scary. They're a little creepy.
For sure, they're creepy. They're really weird. They're disgusting.
But then you get the xenomorph, and that thing's just like shit, and so cool. It's cool when it's on that payload ship and stuff, and it's crawling all around and showing off its agility and even its strength when it's trying to bust through that shield or the windshield on the ship, and he's like, I'm looking right on it.
I didn't know they had like
able to get it in that crane, which was cool. But
I didn't know it had like a Pachycephalosaurus head, because like that's not been something xenomorphs typically show off. They're usually like, I'll just bite through it with my inner jaw, but it's like bashing, like everything in this thing is like bashing its head against something. You're like, okay.
Yeah, they normally don't show it doing stuff similar to that, but I like that they show a bit of strength out of it. Like when it's on the ship and they're like leading it to a certain bay, which is the terraforming bay, and they kind of trap it in between two doors just before it gets there, and they hold it there while they set up a trap for it. And or maybe it's a different door, but either way, they're on the other side of the door, and they're like, it's right on the other side, and it like hits the door, and you can see it's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that would hold it for too long. Like it's cool that they show off a bit of strength from it. It is big, it's not small.
Yeah,
it's not like human size, it's a little bigger than that. So I thought that was cool. I have no qualms with them showing off a bit of strength from it. I think that's required.
There's like a moment where they're showing it like crawling around, and it like goes down a ladder, and it kind of wraps its tail up around there. That's cool, but it's like there's some moments where I was like, yeah, that's way more CGI. Like,
yeah, a little, yeah. I don't think there are large doses of CGI. Obviously, I didn't really have a problem with the neomorph where he's breathing into it to try and like communicate almost or develop a relationship. I didn't really pick it out as being too CG. Like it looked pretty legit, and it's kind of an easy form to make via computer. There's not a lot of like textures or detail. It's kind of smooth, white, and a shape. So
yeah, that's true. It kind of reminds me of like the velociraptors from Jurassic World, where it's like they look incredible, but I still know. Like,
sure. Whereas the same thing with the alien, there's a few things where obviously it was kind of physically impossible due to limitations to a normal human that they had to use CGI. Like the example you used, or when it's crawling on the ship a little bit when they're trying to leave the planet. Really, there's only a few other moments. Maybe when it's leaping towards the payload terraforming bay, the door that opens. Otherwise, there's a lot of good physical presences from the thing. When it's coming through the doors, they show it, things like that. They do some good creative shots, I think. But,
yeah, I just wish they would have alluded to the queen, because I was thinking even with those like 2 facehugger embryos he puts on later on in the ship or whatever else, this will be a limited problem for the most part. If they would have had some sort of allude to the queen being alive in there, then I would say, okay, now you've got a problem, because she's making egg sacs that are making facehuggers that are making more xenomorphs, and
Yeah, so that's something. There actually was. I was kind of checking out an article on unanswered questions from Alien Covenant.
Well, the continuity's all off. The Alien vs. Predator stuff doesn't seem to make sense anymore. The very first Alien, where they find this place, it's supposed to be like fossilized stuff, but this takes place 10 years. Covenant does before that Alien film. So I don't know. A lot of they're going to make like 4 more of these or something. So it'll be interesting to see what they do continuity-wise. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just going over a little bit of information because sometimes you stumble upon interesting things, and cue the elevator music, I guess. But
I'll just keep talking. I thought the cast was pretty good. They actually were pretty likable. I would have liked to see them a little bit more, because some of them were just, I didn't know them. They had some more viral marketing before this as well to show off, like, oh, this is like the casting, or like this is the crew together and interacting with each other, which would probably endear me to them more than in the film when they have like a few little one-liners here and there. But yeah, what they could have done better, I don't know. Just find more intelligent ways of getting people to get taken out by these things, because the xenomorph only shows up at the end. If you would have introduced the xenomorph earlier, I think it could have presented more times for even 2 or 3 people with guns to have a problem. Whereas like this was like, oh, a facehugger's down in that room down there. Like we should probably avoid it, but I'm going to go down there anyway. So it just wasn't. It just was so split up and search for clues, Scooby-Doo. Like that's just all I could think. It's like, oh, come on, guys, please give me more. Flashback to the killing of all the engineers was kind of interesting. It was kind of like, this is like the Prometheus movie for a little bit, and then which I thought was kind of cool. They could have maybe opened with that, but it would have gone. It wouldn't have lent itself to David's lying, to the deceit that he was sowing throughout. So that was fine. Yeah.
The ending with Fassbender as David. I think we all saw it coming. It was kind of predictable. He picks up a knife. He could have easily cut off his own hand, that sort of thing, steal the clothes and get back to the ship, whatever. It was predictable, yet it still did give me that bit of shock. I mean, I think it's because every part of you is praying and hoping for the sake of the people that is indeed Walter. And then when she says, David, will you help me? Or when she says, Walter, will you help me build my cabin when we get there or something? He's like, he doesn't speak and he just kind of looks at her confused. And she's like, David? Immediately it does. It really makes your heart sink and you're like, shit.
Yeah.
And the whole embryo storage of the xenomorph or the face huggers, pretty cool. So
unless he makes a queen, though, he's only getting 2 xenomorphs out of that deal. That's all I'm trying to say.
That's true. I'm wondering what he plans to do there. Is he going to make a queen? He'll probably spend, he's got 7 years. Is he going to engineer a queen? Probably, you would think. He would have to.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's true. Well, this is interesting because this finale, besides that kind of dread and despair that they kind of get there at the end, is very similar to the first and second Alien films, where it's like, take Alien, put it in airlock, or put it in thing that pushes it out into space. Like
that's the problem. That's your only option in space. But what do you do if you maybe take this more to a ground level where you're not flying around in space, you're not on something that's in a vacuum? Maybe now you're on a planet and it's like a wooded area, maybe more Predator style, something of that nature. Could be pretty cool, I don't need to see any more ancient temple ruin bullshit like from AVP or any of that.
Give me a Tennessee Sacrifice where he has to literally the thing's on its last legs, like they shot out a leg or whatever, but it's still coming for him, and he's stabbing it to death, and it's burning him, and he's shut himself off from Daniels, and she's like, stop it, you gotta let me in there. He's like, no, you gotta you gotta live on. He's just stabbing that thing, it kills him, he kills it. That would have been really impactful. I'd be like, my favorite character. No,
that could have been cool. That would have been impactful.
See, that would have been a sick ending, and it would have been intimate because we talk about these things like Civil War did. The biggest thing in Captain America: Civil War was that big airplane fight. The third act was just a 2-on-1, just bringing it back down, which is really cool, and I think that stays with people more. Alien, the first one, she fights. You're like, oh, it's all over, and then it comes up, and you're like, oh, it's not over, and then she gets rid of it just by herself, shoots it out the airlock, But yeah, I don't know. That's just a thought. That's just one idea for a finale, but it was still all right. I thought she was gonna sacrifice herself. I thought she was gonna take the hit and take it with her, but she's like, oh, I'm just gonna jump out of the way, and this truck's gonna just slam into it and skewer it.
Yeah, it worked out perfectly. So what did you think about James Franco being Branson, who would have been the captain of the ship if he had not died?
Yeah, I was looking at pictures, in the movie, because looking at him, I was like, is that James Franco?
And when he does the video on the cell phone or whatever, it's like, James Franco?
Yeah, all I could think was, oh man, this reminds me of the second Planet of the Apes film. It's he just can't make it into a sequel of a sci-fi thing. It's just not working. He's always a dead guy, and they show a video of him. I thought it was fine.
I wonder how that came about. James, can we use you for this part in the movie? And he's like, oh yeah, such a big fan of Alien. I don't really want to put the work in though, so make sure you kill me off within the first minute, all right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it was weird. It was fine, it just goes to show that a lot of people are attracted to this, or they just wanted somebody. They could have taken anybody, so he must either know someone or be a huge fan, or Ridley Scott's a huge fan of his. I don't know, because any other person would probably get paid a lot less and do the exact same job. So yeah, it was fine. He was fine. He doesn't really impact the film. So yeah, I will say this though, the acting of Daniels when she's watching that video, when she's staring at it, the one that he made while he's rock climbing, she does a really good job there. He just died and she's watching this, she's going over stuff that she had of his, and I was like, wow, she's pretty good. I thought she did a great job.
Yeah, I thought all that was really well done. The acting as a whole was pretty. I don't want to say stellar, but it was very good. It was. I don't really have any complaints.
Better than Prometheus for sure. It just seemed like a lot of people.
Yeah.
I cared more for these people already. Like I remember right as they landed, I thought, man, I already care about these guys. They're kind of like, exchanging little like retorts here and there, little quick jabs to each other. I'm like, man, these guys are way more likable than the Prometheus crew already. Like,
yeah, between Fassbender, Fassbender, Daniels, and Tennessee, they're probably the three that you really garner a relationship with. And by Fassbender, I mean Walter, David. You don't care for David because he's obviously kind of the villain in this, and not so much the alien. The alien is just nature doing its thing, right?
yeah.
But they do a good job of making you, feel connected to them a little bit more, so you care. The rest of the cast, kind of take them or leave them. They're cannon fodder, right? They're the first to go. I didn't see it coming. The like second mate and the radar guy or whatever. They were a couple up there on the bridge, and next thing you know, they're doing it in the shower.
I was like, come on. I was like, where's the sexy shower scene? And then
the cute girl never makes it. She always does. But
I guess they didn't know, but still, it's like after that harrowing day, you're like, let's just go have shower sex and it'll be fine. It's like, no.
Yeah, well, who? Yeah, I don't know. They didn't know a freaking alien was gonna. Excuse me. Wow. Oh, I'm not bored. I swear. I'm just. It's been a day.
He's tuckered out. He's had a big day.
But yeah, they didn't. They didn't know an alien was gonna be there. I mean, heck, they were kind of doing an examination or patching up the guy that got hurt and got impregnated with the face hugger, but.
They gotta check stuff before it gets on the
ship. I know,
ship.
they gotta do let's make sure there's no foreign objects within him or anything. But they didn't know that he had that thing on him or anything.
Like check Walter or / David. Like check your synthetic because you're like, oh, there's like a crazy robot that looks just like our robot. Should we check our robot? It's like, I don't know.
I know.
Plus, he was carrying like a bunch of that stuff too. So even then, they could have like scanned him and like, wait, he's got some organic biomass on him. Like, Walter, what's going on there?
Yeah, what's in your mouth?
Come on. Come on. All right. Anyway. Yeah. I just, if you're interested, if you listen to this point and you think like, I don't know if I want to see this movie. If you like Alien, if you like Xenomorphs, then you've already probably seen it. If you're on the fence and you like horror movies and are okay with watching people make really, really stupid decisions all the time, even though they're supposed to be really intelligent, and it's a very confusing kind of backstory, especially if you haven't watched Prometheus, this movie might be for you. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I encourage people to go see it, especially if you think there's any redeeming qualities or appeal to the alien monster. I think you'll get your kicks via that. There's other good things as we've talked about. The stupid decision thing, that kind of comes with the territory of this genre. It just is what it is. So you go in with an open mind and just sit back with your drink and enjoy it. And I think you'll enjoy it. We gave it a 7. I think I gave it a good 8.5. Or maybe I didn't. I don't know. Check it out in the review. I can't remember. But it's enjoyable. I will say that. I don't think it's money wasted at all. So it'll be a good time at the movies for sure. Scare the girlfriend a bit, maybe. Throw an arm around her, So, yeah, thoughts on Alien Covenant? We thought it was pretty good. We gave it both pretty decent reviews, I think, in this discussion and elsewhere. So, thanks for bearing with us, people. That was me oozing on and just giving some good feedback on my favorite horror sci-fi character ever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We all know Jimmy's more of a Predator guy, so we won't even bring it up. But.
Yep. Won't bring it up. Actually, you brought up Predators. Well, I think I also brought up Predators as a joke in the beginning, but you also said like it's kind of like Predators, that movie, like on the planet. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, let's just leave it at this. We hope to see more from the Xenomorph and the Alien franchise. I think it's a good time. It's not necessarily like on the level of like a Marvel Avengers or a DC Justice League or Wonder Woman, but it's still a good entry to the summer, kind of get the blood flowing kind of a movie, something fun. So, yeah. All right, moving on. I think we've covered everything as far as news, reviews, the meat and potatoes. But let's get on to the dessert, shall we? A little cheesecake, maybe. Pick your favorite. I don't know. I like cherries on mine. We are getting to the point where we're going to cover
Time Killers.
I was waiting for you to give me my in, but I didn't get it. So I was like waiting over here. I was like,
I'll be honest. Then this is just my newbie nature, but I thought it was always questions and community feedback, and then Time Killers. But you're right. You got it. All right. I'm a little tired. It's been a day.
that's okay.
But Time Killers, Jimmy, nice one there. I think we need to have you do that a little more often. You got the raspiness for it, pal.
You know, I used to do the original one, and I'm happy to trade off with you. If I do that voice too much, I can start to feel it. So if I just go into that voice
and talk like this for like a long time, it's weird. You know, it's like Beelzebub or something. You know, it's strange, really.
Oh my gosh! If anybody wants to hire me as a voice actor, that'd be great. Joe, for me, been killing time. Watched the first episode of Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt season 3. I don't know why I keep watching that show. It's not the best show in the world. It's fine. It has a few moments where I laugh, but besides that, the only other thing that I've been really getting into lately was some more Heroes of the Storm. I've talked about in the past. Really fun game. Blizzard, best in the biz. Like I got a reward, Joe, from that game for Overwatch and stuff like that. So there's always like these kind of like play this game to get things in this game. So you just stay here forever. So yeah, that's pretty much the biggest things I've been killing time with. How about you, pal? What you been killing time with?
Me, really not a whole heck of a lot. I'm trying to think of movies that, we killed time before the movie this weekend. I saw it Friday, so I think, what was it, Thursday or Wednesday? You and I decided to rent Prometheus and check it out, watch that, just so we were kind of fresh on the history and kind of new going into this one.
I forgot something, Joe. You reminded me, because Joe and I rented 2 movies this week.
Yeah, hold on, pause on that. We'll cover the other one later. Yeah, I know. We'll get to that in a minute. But anywho, Prometheus, that was on my list of Time Killers, kind of on yours too, because we both watched it. What else? I guess that really kind of does it. As far as games, it's kind of been the usual. Been playing a lot of Forza Horizon 2 because I got a bundle deal with Forza Horizon 2 and 6. Or Forza 6 came with it. And Forza Horizon 2 is a good time. Kind of makes me wish I would have jumped on Forza Horizon say this 5 times fast. Anywho, Forza Horizon 3 right away. Maybe pay full price. I think it's worth a worthwhile game. It's fun. Customization, the open world, the online gameplay. It's really well done. So I've been enjoying that. Drew's been playing that with me. But as far as Time Killers go, that's about it. There is one last item that I think we need to talk about. It enters into the realm of Time Killers, and Jimmy and I both share this one. We decided, it's $4. Let's do it.
$5.
Oh, shit. Now I regret it. We rented Underworld Blood Wars just so that we could say we've seen them all.
Yeah.
And do I regret it? Yeah, a little bit.
I think I don't, just because I can, like you said, I've seen them all now. I don't know if it's worse or as bad as Awakening, but man, like, yeah.
I'd say it's a little better than Awakening. Awakening was just a totally weird vibe.
That's true. I guess this gets back to, this one's got some just, this one gets like spiritual, which is really weird. Like,
it does, like afterlife kind of limbo type stuff.
I thought, I'm not, if you haven't watched it yet, we're not going to probably get as deep into this one, but spoilers on, but there's a part in this film where Kate Beckinsale, she comes back, she's like vampire, the werewolves are fighting the vampires, the Lycans, old school fun, blah, 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 they all want to kill each other. She can't find her daughter, blah, blah, blah. There's a point where she like dies and like she's dies on some ice or whatever. She's like on this ice float and she's fighting this really stupid villain who's like this weird, bad looking, like he's a lichen, but he's got the face of a man because he's been taking the blood of. Somehow he got Michael Corvinus's blood. I don't know how you could stop Michael because Michael was like unstoppable. But she's dying and she reaches out with her hand. She's like, Michael. She lifts up some ice and she like slides under the ice, and then she's like underneath in the icy water, and they're like looking at her and her blue eyes turn to brown, and then she's dead. And I was thinking, oh my God, she's like out of the franchise. And then a light bulb turned on in my head saying, remember, Jim, you saw the promotional stuff with her blonde hair and the fact that she could basically teleport now. I was like, she's going to come back. And sure enough, she comes back with like a fur coat and like blonde hair, and she can like teleport around. And it's just, there's some stupid deaths. Like the way she kills like the main guy, just like ripping his spine out is very Mortal Kombat. There's another time.
Oh my God, it was ridiculous.
There's an uppercut at one point where a lichen gets cut like straight up in half, but also goes flying up in the air.
Oh yeah, but what's his name? The one guy, he like runs a sword through him and just splits him.
I call him Four. He's Four from the Equilibrium series or whatever the heck that thing's called. Not Equilibrium. What was the name of that one?
I don't know. Divergence. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, it's just a cluster. That movie's so. There's like things where I want it to be good, but none of the villains are cool. Celine is barely cool. It's so they're like, we've known about an afterlife for a while, and they bring her back, and that's why she's got her teleporting powers, like these vampires that know about the afterlife. And oh man, Joe, like there's some really crazy CG in a bad way, and it's like a 3, guys. It's like a 3 out of 10. And I like this series. I'm not an apologist. There's a lot of problems with it, and by like the series, I mean like the best one's maybe like a 7 out of 10. Like maybe the first one, or Rise of the Lycans, like a 7.5. This is like a 3. It's like so many like laugh out loud stupid moments. Like just
yeah, they start to get back to a little bit of history, like Michael and all that, and they show that at the end, and she's all like torn up about it, and I don't know. Part of me is like, explain how the hell they like got him, and he didn't just rip them apart. What makes these guys special that they're able to capture that guy? I'm just like, what? And yeah, the CG where they turn a guy into like a half lichen, half human. Just shoot me now.
Yeah. One thing I did like is that it did tie into Awakening a lot and the first one. I like when sequels actually talk about the ones that preceded it, because I was like, why do vampires hate her so much? And then they say like, she killed Victor, she killed one of our council members. I was like, oh, that makes sense. I guess if she offed one of your leaders, every vampire would be like, you suck, Celine. And I was like, okay, literally.
Yeah, well, they tie everything and they keep with the storyline through each one really well. And even the prequel one, Rise of the Lycans, did a good job, kind of melding in, finding its place. But yeah, and same thing can be said, like they do the whole I think his name's David. He's the son of one of the vampire elders who was killed by Lycans in the first one, and that was all kind of cool. I like that, but the movie just was kind of shoddy. I just don't know what more they can do with it. I think it kind of climaxed with Underworld Evolution, where she kills the 2 original brothers, the werewolf and the vampire.
That's actually good.
That one was a good movie, even better than the first one. The first one was a good introduction to it, low budget introduction. They did a good job with it. It was intense. It was kind of scary. Good practical effects. Nothing was too hokey. The villain was good. And it tied back into history, especially once they had the Rise of the Lycans come out. Then you had Underworld Evolution, which was where she went and killed the 2 original brothers, which was really cool. And it all made sense, whereas now they're grasping at straws, like, who do we create for a villain? So Awakening and Blood Wars had that issue, and I'm sorry, I just think it's done. As much as I like those first 3 films, I think it's done now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, Joe, you mentioned practical effects. I just want to mention this really quickly as a time killer. I forgot to mention it, but I went to this thing this weekend. I didn't think I'd go to. I might put up some images on Twitter for it if you want to see it. I don't know if I'll make a video, but I saw a Guillermo del Toro exhibit at this art museum, and it was so cool to see some of those practical, just like statues of the practical effects, like some Hellboy stuff, some Pacific Rim stuff. Pan's Labyrinth stuff. Just a lot of really cool things. So you want to talk about good practical effects? Go watch like Hellboy 2. There's some really freaking good stuff in that movie. It's so good. It's like,
what did
whoa.
they have for Pacific Rim?
Excuse me. They had some really cool drawings. They had this kind of like some mannequins. Like one was like of the little I forget what her name is. I think it's Namiko or something. Like the little girl, but she grows up. There's like a flashback, but it's like her and someone in like a Pacific like Rim armor set, like standing and like holding her hand, kind of like, oh, I'm saving you, which was pretty cool. And yeah, they had a few little sculptures. They had one of the kaiju up somewhere. It had like 3 tails on it. I was like, wow, that's really cool. So yeah, it was pretty dang neat. I wish I would have brought my camera. I didn't think we were gonna go there, but we did, and I was like, shoot. So yeah, I kind of want to go back because it was totally worth it. It was very, very cool. Anyway, sorry. There you go. That's my time.
One other thing for Timekillers, not really Time Killer, but I just happened to catch it. Believe it or not, thus far, Alien Covenant has only made... Oh no, why am I not seeing it now?
I heard this weekend it made $40 million, which was solid for that kind of movie.
Yeah, I think that's what I saw too.
Yeah, for the box office. And actually, I think it toppled Guardians. The Guardians has been out for a little bit, so makes sense. Yeah. Space, man. May is space. Except for pirates, which not really, I guess technically they are. Planet. Anyway. Yeah. So I think it's doing all right.
62 million. 62 million thus far.
Globally or just in the US?
USD.
Okay. That's pretty good. I don't know what their budget was. So
it was actually only like 30 something.
Oh, okay. So they're probably definitely they'll make a return on this, especially seeing the Xenomorph. That's where Prometheus, if they would have called it. I wish they just retitled that one Alien Prometheus, because even though it has nothing to do with that, it does tie into the lore and make it just feel like it. So it would have made a lot more money that way. But yeah. Yeah, Joe, I don't know. Do you have any other time killers, or should we get to the next segment?
No, I think we're on to the next segment here,
Community
pal.
feedback and questions. See,
oh,
I got you this time.
yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
You gotta be quick on that draw, pal. See how hard that is?
Yeah, people are just coming in here. There's just, I gotta get a lock for this thing. No, but yeah. So Joe, because I knew you were hosting this week, I didn't want to like force it all on you to do this. So I asked the Legionnaires what type of weapon, or what weapon, they could have any, would they use against Xenomorph? They could have any weapon they chose. I don't know is there any weapon that comes to mind to you right away, Joe?
Ooh, not right away. I mean, what would you want? I'd probably want. I'd want a shotgun where like every other shell is a slug, and then the other one in the mix is birdshot. Like I want a mix of both.
How about dragon breath, like on some of those shells, baby? So you got a little bit of fire.
Yeah, but I think that's like a underrated birdshot.
All right.
I don't think it really shoots much, does it?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I've seen it before, but.
So Gabrielle says a flamethrower. Classic choice. We've seen it work.
If you're in space, it makes sense because you can't blow holes in the hull of the ship.
That's actually really true. That's very true. So Night Warrior says a type of rocket launcher. So it's an SMAW, a SMA. I don't know if you've heard of that. I hadn't heard of it, but this one from our friend Natalie says Green Lantern's ring. That'd be pretty good.
Oh, so we're running limitless on this thing.
Oh, for sure.
Superman's powers.
No, you can't. That's not a weapon.
It is. It's a weapon of mass destruction.
Anna says she says Cyborg's psionic cannon arm, which is a good one. And then I think my favorite from our good friend Beaten Down Brian, he says a can of Xenomorph Begone, which I would imagine he's walking up to it.
Industrial strength raid.
Well, those, the Neomorphs like to be right behind you, and the Xenomorphs like to do that kind of thing where they get up. So if you just like turn around, he's like, ah! He's like, right in my non-eyes.
I can't see.
He's like, oh, and then he just like remembers. He's like, wait, I can never see. Even though in this movie they show you Xenomorph vision.
Oh, what did you think of that?
It was fine. I wanted more of it jumping, like from the trailer where it was like jumping from spot to spot like really fast. I was like, that's cool because we have like the tech to show that off now. I wanted to see more of it moving about, but they did have a few moments where it was kind of walking upright like the first Alien, like at the end. But it was kind of cool. It was like a Predator vision kind of. They didn't, if they would have shown a human or an organism like through its eyes, that would have been cool because they didn't. It was just like hallways, so I didn't know if it highlights things. Whatever.
They didn't really show that off much, and you're right too. It would have been cool to show off its motion capability better from its point of view, like jumping from side to side. And that would have been neat. But anywho, what's up next here, pal?
All right, questions. So we just have a few quick ones. First one from Night Warrior 30. What is your and Joe's opinions on any kind of simulator game? I don't know, I think like airplane simulators and stuff like that, maybe like space simulators. I don't know. I think they're cool. It's kind of an interesting way to get in the mindset of some of those, unless you're talking about like immersive sim, which would be like a Prey or something, or like a Bioshock.
Oh, so what's your favorite type of simulator style game?
No, just like what's your opinion on them in general?
Oh, I like them. I mean, Forza technically is a simulation style game.
True, dude. That's like the best way if you're not rich and you don't have Ferraris to crash.
Yeah, it's the closest I'll ever get to driving one.
Not true. We're going to get you in something.
That's not true. I'll take a trip to Vegas one time and I'll just rent one of those race cars for the track time.
I'll get you in a Koenigsegg one day, dude.
Oh, Koenigsegg. Oh.
That's how I cement my spot as Joe's best friend forever. It's like no matter what happens in life, I could do a lot of bad things. I'm like, but you got to ride. You're like,
All right, I'm gonna have to step away for a second.
Oh, jeez.
I love Koenigsegg's. I love them. I love them.
So Joe, besides that, Sean Fragan, I should say, asks, who was your teenage celebrity crush? # Critical Podcast. Do you have any celebrity crushes? I think I know who it would be. Would it be Lana from old Smallville?
Oh, okay. Yeah, from like high school and maybe early college. Lana from Smallville, Kristen Crook.
Yeah.
And then maybe years after that, like 2013-ish, it was Nina Dobrev.
He's a teenager, man. Fragan also he said that his was Jewel. He was
really. All right, mine's Kristen Crook.
Kristen Crook, that's good. I think for me, for some odd reason, I think I saw her in that old Hulk movie, but Jennifer Connelly, man, she's just a pretty person. Like, and I like she's kind of reserved. You know what you want to talk about? The one with Eric Bana. Jennifer Connelly. She was in Requiem for a Dream. I never saw her. It was really depressing. Very pretty. Jennifer Connelly. I remember saying that.
I'll trust you on that. I'll trust you.
I said it at like this, it was like college before going to college type of thing. And I brought her up and I brought up, I think, Pam from The Office. They're like, oh, that's interesting picks. Like my professor was like, those are weird picks. I'm like, I don't know. I kind of like a woman with reserved, like they're very pretty, but they're also reserved. They're not just like, I don't know.
Is Pam from The Office the front desk girl in a relationship with the other guy, with the one guy?
Yeah, that one guy. What are you talking about?
Jim? No.
Halpert? No.
I don't know. Okay, I don't watch The Office. I just know a couple of the characters. Dwight.
Jim and Pam. They're the ones who like they get married.
Yeah. All right. Now I know who you're talking about.
They're not related though.
No, but they're married or dating or whatever.
On the show, not in.
On the show. On the show. Yeah.
On the show, Joe.
All right.
Next question, Joe. This is from Brian, beating down Brian. Thank you so much for listening. Someone has reached into your brain, and now your new dream IP is about to be announced at E3. What is it?
What's a dream IP?
So just a brand new intellectual property. You could make it a third-person action game. You could make it a cool first-person driving game. You can make it whatever you want, Joe. Just your biggest dream.
It could be a device or a product.
No, it's just like a franchise, like a game. Like It's not going to be a device. It's going to be, that'd be crazy. Yeah, I've talked about this a lot, but I don't know if like established IPs are off the table, like I can't make the Deathstroke game. I probably am going to go with something, probably like a third-person action game, very stylish. I mean, Darksiders 3 is already out there, but something kind of like in the same vein of that, kind of. Maybe even future. We'll do future instead of medieval. I'd rather have a future third-person action game with like cool, like light swords and guns and stuff, and like really kind of techy. That would be really neat for me. Anyway, like really fast. Think Virgil from Devil May Cry 4, but in the future. Just killing people. Oh man, that'd be great. With a buddy. Co-op, please. Yes, thank you. It's a tough question.
Unlimited resources, kind of sky's the limit. I would come out with a game similar to Grand Theft Auto. It can be same setting, whatever, cityscape, whatever, with some country if you go out of town on the freeway. But you know what it would be? It would be horror themed, everything. And almost like a viral deal, or maybe like a zombie apocalypse type deal, where you're kind of got to be careful, things lurking in the shadows, that sort of a thing. And best way to play it online with your buddies, kind of like you would GTA, only more horror themed. I don't know the details yet. I'll work on it. Maybe next week I'll have an update for you.
Is it third person, by the way? Is it like?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
I feel
for
like
sure.
I've had games like that, but I'm sure you'd make a very good version.
To give you a better example, think about Halloween this past year when GTA 5 had the feature kind of limited time thing where you could play this game with people online in your session, where one person is the killer / hunter, and you're trapped in a building and you hit on different levels, and he hunted down everybody within a certain time limit. It was pretty intense and scary, and you could like move around and hide from him as he's searching for you, and you could see him come through doors and stuff or walk down hallways through the windows. It was really cool. So something of that nature, only on a open world scale. You know what I mean? Cool. Like maybe a certain amount of the people in your session are infected and you're not, or something of that nature. I think it could be fun.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool idea, man. I like that.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Joe, believe it or not, that's all of our questions for today. That's everything. That's the
there
show.
You go. Hey, we appreciate them. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Well, if you have any, if you do want to tweet at us any of your questions, all I have to do is just tweet the hashtag Critical Podcast. Joe, I don't want to take this away from you, but if you want to do the regular spiel, or you want to do your spiel. Yeah.
So always hashtag Critical Podcast for all the questions every week. Send them to us on a Monday, Tuesday morning, afternoon. If you want to tweet at Jimmy personally, you can reach him at
JimmyGood013.
Or the actual, how would you put this, Jimmy? The critical Twitter.
Reviews account, I guess.
The reviews account. Yeah. You can tweet at Go Critical, capital G, capital C.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Or if you want to reach me, it's Lever_627. That's Lever just like Beaver, only with an L. And be sure to check Jimmy out on Twitch. He's on there all the time. Jimmy, have you been streaming more towards the Critical Reviews channel lately?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm on there the whole time. And I don't know if it's really an announcement that I could make this week, but I'm going to do my best to stream a bunch of the E3 press conferences, like with my live reactions. I'm even going to dress up and try to do as much of those as I possibly can. I can't promise I'll be on for every one of those, but if you want to spend E3 watching me and like a little box of like the press conference and listening to it along with me, experience E3 with me, then you can do it over there.
That's cool, pal. So when is that timing? When's that happening?
Is June. Hold on. It starts June 11th, I believe, and that's a Sunday. So
right around the corner. So you'll be tweeting about it, I'm sure. Check out the Critical Reviews Twitter as well as Jimmy's personal. So I'll try and share that as well. I guess that kind of does it. Check us out on the Twitch, as I said, Critical Reviews. Obviously, the biggest favor you can do us is by sharing this content. We appreciate your time and your patience in listening through all of our chitter chatter. But we think it's good stuff, and I really hope you enjoy it. Jimmy hopes you enjoy it. We have fun and appreciate time spent here. So that's also, if you want to check us out on
if you want to check us out on patreon.com, if you want to throw us a few bucks and help us support us monetarily, you can do that. Just patreon.com/critical reviews. And the money you spend there, well, you can get some really sick rewards, like some really cool drawn art from the one and only Yoren Evers. Yoren Evers, he's the best. Obviously, we thank him and this is Dale for helping contribute to the show with their art, if that's in a picture format or in a musical format. But yeah, if you want to help us, that is another really great way. And it's, throw us $1. I implore you, if you can't even do that, just share the Patreon with a friend so they can see that. And we're just trying to get the word out. So anything you can do to help us, that was greatly appreciated. Sharing, retweeting, all that stuff. Thank you so much. Please.
No matter what it is, we appreciate it. Appreciate your guys, your help, your devotion, your commitment to the Legion. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right?
You are correct.
Good job. Yeah. So, as Jimmy always says, from time to time, adapt and overcome. And we'll see you next time. Goodbye.